Hello, everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. So, before we dive into today's episode, which is all about Vanderpump Rules and the Valley, what's going on with the cast? Are we into it? Are we not? The latest, who's unfollowing who's having a feud, all of it. We're going to get into it. But before we do, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. So, with that, let's kick off with talking about Vanderpump Rules. So, overall, I feel like this season really needs to be the last. It's giving weird storylines. It's giving fake storylines. It's giving none of these people are friends. It's giving none of these people even live in LA anymore. It's weird, it's bizarre, but we're going to get into it. So let's first talk about some of the latest issues that's going on in the news, hot topics. And as we do that, we'll just break down what's going on in the current season. So first up, let's talk about 1 second. Oh, 1 second, you guys. Here we go. Let's talk about Scheana Shay suggesting that Katie vented to Lala about Ariana off camera and shares where she stands with Lala now. Plus, Katie reacts to Lala on following her. So, this is according to Reality Blurb. It says Scheana Shay hinted that Katie Maloney went off on Lala about Ariana Madix off camera, or to Lala rather, about Ariana Madix off camera during a joint interview with Katie on Monday. As Katie37 reacted to Lala on following her on Instagram, claiming she was confused by the snub, the Vanderpump Rules star 38 suggested that Lala got upset at last month's reunion taping due to things Katie wouldn't admit to saying about Ariana. Okay. I'm going to get into what they said, and then I'm going to tell you what I think is actually going on here, okay? So a big thing at the reunion was Lala just kind of wanting everyone to tell the truth and the things that Katie and I have both vented to her about, whether it be about Ariana specifically, the sandwich shop, the show, whatever it may be. She just really wanted to say what we've said to her to everyone else, and I don't think she felt like everyone did that, Scheana shared during her and Katie's joint interview with Us Weekly on April 15th, not naming anyone by name. According to Scheana, who didn't reveal what Katie potentially said about Ariana or their yet to open sandwich shop something about her, she said she definitely knows where her head's at. This is a tough group to navigate when something so big like this shakes it up, but I do absolutely understand where she's coming from, Scheana stated. Okay, whoever wrote this article, they need to go back to English school or whatever. That was a bunch of jumble. But I'm here to break it down and make it digestible for all of you guys. This is what I really think is going on. So, as we know, Lala Kent has unfollowed Katie Maloney and Ariana Madix. As we know, during this season, it's really been Scheana and Lala versus Ariana and Katie, where Scheana is kind of straddling the fence, where, she's talking about being upset about Dancing with the Stars, Ariana not really being there for her, but yet she's going to ride for Ariana till she dies. But then she kind of wants to be friends with Tom again. So she's kind of striding the fence. Lala, on the other hand, is being very vocal and being like, listen, sweetheart, like, you can't tell us not to hang out with Tom Sandoval and you still choose to live with him. Now, on that aspect, I disagree with Lala, because if I'm Ariana, I'm not moving out of a house that I put my money in, spent my time on, my name is on. Absolutely not, until it is the absolute right move for me financially and emotionally and mentally and spiritually and all of the things. So when it comes to the house stuff, I'm team Ariana. I'm not going anywhere until it's right for me to go if I spent my money and my time and my name is on it. Absolutely not. So when it comes to the house stuff, I'm definitely team Ariana. However, with the other part of it, I'm team Lala, because Lala is basically just like, listen, chick, you never rocked with me. You never had my back. You were just kikiing with him when he was cussing all us girls out. He was cussing out me. He was cussing out Katie. He was cussing out Stassi. Damn, he was cussing out Lisa Vanderpump, if we're keeping it all the way real. He was very disrespectful to Lisa, but Lisa took it because she kind of favors the boys. The way he treated Kristen, Tom Sandoval has a history of competing with and disrespecting women. And so Lala's like, look, just because now it's you, why should I be ride or die for you when you've never been ride or die for me? I don't want anything bad to happen to you, but my life ain't about to stop because of you. And to that point, what I really think is going on with Lala versus Ariana is Lala is trying to keep the show going. She's trying to keep the show on the air. I think, and she pretty much said this in one of her podcasts or one of her Amazon lives, where she was like, yeah, I'm kind of concerned that like this season is riding on the shoulders of Ariana, who's never really brought anything to the show. And everything Lala has been doing, it's been in an effort. And I do think the producers are also telling Lala to do this stuff. Like, Lala, call Rachel, see if she will come back and film. So Lala's calling Rachel and leaving that weird voicemail. Lala, go to dinner with Joe, because Joe's in her confessionals. Like, well, the way into this group could be through Lala, you know? And so Lala's meeting with Joe and doing everything else and making amends with Tom Sandoval, because the show has to go on, right? It has to be more than just Ariana being pissed off and yelling all the time and just being her little prissy self that she's like. That can't carry a show. And I agree with Lala. You know, I would be concerned if, and she said this, she's like, for the last, you know, however year she's been on the show, her number one moneymaker and the number one platform that generates her revenue, because let's be honest, if it wasn't for Vanderpump Rules, none of these people would have the revenue streams that they have, right? It's all based on being on this platform that they're able to do the sweatshirts and the TV deals and the social media deals and the podcasts and the books and the tours and blah, 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 blah. The foundation of all of their revenue income, streams of income, is the platform. That is the foundation. Without that built-in audience, you're not getting these opportunities, right? And so Lala is basically like, listen, Ariana's good right now because, you know, she's like the golden child. She's making all of this money. She's getting all of these brand deals. She's on Broadway. She'll be fine. But like, am I going to be fine? Is the rest of the team going to be fine? I don't want this money to stop. I still want to be on TV. I don't want Vanderpump Rules to get canceled. And I still want to have a platform to make more money. So I'm going to do what I need to do on this show to keep the show going. Because if you think about it, without Lala kind of stirring the pot, what would this season be? It would be fake. You know, let me just go and just talk about the season now that I've kind of backed into it, you know? So what would it be? You know, I don't believe that Katie and Tori and Tom Schwartz, their whole threesome, three-way, you know, two exes going for the same girl, that to me is totally fake, totally contrived. I don't believe that storyline for 1 minute. We have Messy Boots Allie, who all she does is carries a bone. Low key, Allie is the messiest person on this show. She is so messy. She acts like she's so innocent and like, let's just do these evil devil tarot cards and astrology for you guys. And I'm just, you know, just want to be a little Taylor Swift person. No, chick, you are so messy. Because in this last episode, she goes to Katie and she goes, Lala said that you are miserable and that you're popping off and everything. Lala never said she was miserable. She said that I think that Katie is unhappy. And she totally blew that out. She was saying what she thought. It's like, well, Allie, do you think Katie is miserable? And that's why you said that? But this isn't the first time she's done that, right? Remember last season when she went to James and then she went to Ariana being like, oh, Katie said that like you and Tom had an open relationship and how it's so weird that Rachel and Tom were dancing at the Abbey, blah, 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 blah. But Katie never said that. It was Allie who was the one who said she saw them at the Abbey dancing and it was really weird. And are they open or are they not open or whatever? But she took that bone back to Ariana, totally threw Katie under the bus and put words in Katie's mouth that was never said. But nobody ever seems to check Allie. Allie is a sniper from the side. We got to watch out for her. And I'm still not convinced she's not completely like an AI bot that like James created or something. Like I'm still on the fence on whether or not Allie is like a bot or something. I'm not sure. But you got to watch out for her. And also I kind of feel like James is kind of getting his karma with the women he's with because he used Kristen. Quiet as it's kept, he used Tom Sandoval to gut in the show. He's been very honest about it. And every woman he dates, from Rachel to Allie, in my opinion, is using him to be on the show. All of a sudden, Allie wants to be a pop star, a country singer again, or whatever she's trying to do. She was on some reality show before, singing and acting and whatever. And now she's trying to sort of like do that now again. Look, I'm not knocking anybody's hustle. I'm not knocking anybody's dream, but it's giving a little opportunist and it's giving like she gives Rachel vibes. Just, their personalities are different, but they're kind of the same, if that makes any sense. So that's kind of what I feel like is going on there. But let's get back to the feud between Ariana, Scheana, Katie, and Lala. So that's where I think Lala's energy is really coming from. She's like, listen, I don't want this show to be canceled because this is how I make my money. And this is, how I make and I want to be on TV. I still want to have this level of Bravo fame. And then on the flip side of that, I think Lala's like, you never had my back, so I'm not really rocking with you because you never really rocked with me like that. And then even baked in on that, which I think is a bigger thing that Ariana seems to conveniently miss, is that a lot of these people on the cast have had their own beef with Tom Sandoval outside of Scandoval. So Lala, has been like, Tom, you've come at me over and over and over again. You talk about, how I got with Randall, my life, my lips, my money, my, sucking D for Range Rovers, blah, 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 whatever it is. You come at me, you call me a hypocrite, you call me all these things, but yet look what you were doing. And so Lala and Tom have been able to have their own resolution for the stuff that Lala had against Sandoval on her own personal level. So I think with Lala, she's like, listen, yeah, I had a beef with Sandoval. We've been able to talk through it. We've been able to have a resolution. I'm not going to harbor resentment against him for you when you've never had my back. And so that's why I'm team Lala on this. I do think she's getting to be a little bitter with it. I'm not sure why, but she has a little bit of bitterness now to it. I think if she just reined that bitterness back a little bit, it would be, I would be even more on her side, but there's a little bit of salty bitterness going on with all of it. But I do agree with the essence of it, with the spirit of it, with the sentiment of what she's saying. And to be honest with you, I would be the same exact way. If I'm Lala, Ariana, you've never had my back. I don't rock with you. I've made amends with him with the stuff he did against me personally. I want to keep this bag coming in. I still want to be on TV. Girl, show up. Clock in. This is your job. You saying who you're not going to film with, you making it difficult to keep the ball rolling. You're stopping everybody's bag. Good for you for being on Broadway, but what about our bags? So that's what I think is going on with Lala. With Scheana, I think what's going on with her is she is just like, when is it going to be my turn? Like, why is it not about me? Can it be about me? Why is it not about me? And I honestly, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually really understand how Scheana feels. If I were Scheana, I would probably feel the same way because Sheena's always been a key player, but she's always been a beta player. She's always been in the mix. She's always been there. She's always been a part of things, but she's never been the lead. She's never been the star of the story. She's never been the queen of the season. And I get how for her that can make her feel some type of way. And then if we're being honest about it, Scheana got the rawest deal out of Scandoval. She had to go to court and fight charges on the restraining order. She's a mother, that cost money. That's a lot. She has Rachel here saying that she assaulted her. To be honest with you, Scheana really did get the biggest blow. She has Tom Sandoval out here being like, I don't give an F about you. We were never friends, because that's how Tom is. Like, Tom is just pathetic. And I mean that in a genuine way. I don't mean it in a nasty way, like, oh, you're so pathetic. I don't mean it that way. I mean it in like the true sense of the word. Like, he's like a pathetic person. Like, you just look at him and he's grasping at straws. He looks sickly. He's still doing the same like delusional, narcissistic, ego-based thinking, but it's not landing because now everybody just sort of sees him for who he is. And all of the mask has fallen, and he just seems very like weaselly and very like pathetic. Do you know what I mean? So of course that type of person is going to lash out, and Scheana, with her level of varying degrees of self-esteem, she then internalizes that and wants to get like the validation back from him. But that was a real friendship for her. So she's losing the friendship of Tom. She's catching a court case. She is then also losing the friendship of Rachel. I don't know why people are trying to be friends with this chick, whatever. Scheana really got the rawest deal, if we're being honest about it. And then anytime Scheana wants to talk about her feelings and about what happened to her in the situation, the internet drags her for making it about herself, and she's jealous of Ariana and all this other stuff. And it's like, well, no, maybe she's a human being who got betrayed by multiple friends, who then caught a court case and had to fight that. And then when anytime she wants to speak up about her feelings in a situation, the internet literally drags her. So I do feel bad for Scheana, because to be honest with you, she got a rawer deal than Ariana did. I'm not saying that what Ariana went through wasn't painful or hurtful, but if we're going to be honest, Ariana knew, whether she wanted to admit it or not, that she was in a loveless, sexless relationship. And she also, and I know that just because you get money out of something or you get brand deals out of something, that doesn't negate the pain. But just on paper situation, she totally got a come up out of this. She got the literal ultimate glow up out of this. Not to say that doesn't take away from being cheated on, being betrayed by someone who you thought were your friend with Rachel. But at the end of the day, Ariana, you only liked Rachel because Tom liked her. The same way you never had Scheana's back. You never had Katie's back. You never had Lala's back. You never had Stas's back. You sure as hell didn't have Kristen's back, because you were cheating with Tom when she was with him because of Tom Sandoval. So it's like you were never good to these other women. You were only friends with Rachel because she was friends with Tom. And the gag is, she was the girl who was having sex with your boyfriend. So, I mean, hello, you know what I mean? So it just kind of feels like, in my opinion, out of Scandival, I think Scheana got the rawest deal. And I'm not taking away from Ariana's feelings, and I'm not taking away from her pain, but I think that it's not shown enough what happened to Scheana too, if that makes sense. So that's why I kind of think like Lala and Scheana have kind of bonded over kind of being like the forgotten ones, and they're still trying to making sure that they can get their bag. Now, Katie, what I think is the core going on between Katie and Lala is this. I think off camera, behind the scenes, Katie feels exactly the same way that Lala and Scheana feel. I think she's probably, talked about Ariana, has vented, has had the same exact concerns, the same exact worries, all of that behind the scenes and privately. But I think that when it comes to Katie, she's scared to say anything publicly because she doesn't want to be dragged. She doesn't want to be canceled. She doesn't want to be called jealous, the way we see that happens with, quite frankly, anybody who says anything about Ariana. People come on my comments to little old me being like, you're jealous of Ariana. Ariana Venom. I'm like, nobody is jealous of Ariana. I just have an opinion about a person who is a public figure. Nobody's jealous of her. So I get why Katie is scared to publicly say anything against Ariana, because if you do that, you're scared you're going to get canceled. I think the same thing happens with James Kennedy. I think James thinks the same that Lala thinks for the majority of things, and Scheana, but he's also scared to say anything publicly because they don't want to be canceled. They don't want to be dragged because all of a sudden it's blasphemous to say anything against Ariana. Not when it comes to me, because I'm going to say it how I feel it, how I mean it all the time. So it is what it is. But I think that Lala and probably Scheana feel like, Katie, you need to be honest, like come and like say the truth. There's strength in numbers. Also, I think when it comes to something about her, I think Katie, and something about her is pretty much closed. Oh, I had gotten I'm so mad. I had gotten screenshots of someone who went by something about her and it like looks completely different now. Like it's a different shop. If those screenshots are current, because I need to go back and do my due diligence and make sure they're current screenshots, but it's pretty much a wrap. Like I don't think something about her is something that is not happening. I should go by there and look at it for you guys. Anyway, so yeah. I think that Katie was also really scared to go against Ariana because of something about her. It was Katie's baby. She put her money into it, all of that. So again, I think Katie was not speaking how she truly felt about Ariana because she didn't want the backlash. She didn't want to get canceled. And that's her business partner. Something about her is on the line. I'm thinking it's pretty much dissolved at this point, but we'll see. Also with Katie, again, it goes back to Katie's not willing to let it go either because of her own, I think Ariana aside, because of her own personal beef with Sandoval that we've watched for the last 13 years of how he has systematically gaslit, disrespected, smear campaign against Katie. Now, Katie has her own set of personality issues. She can be difficult, she can be mean, she can be whatever. We all know that. We all know Katie is an acquired taste. We know. That does not take away from the fact that Tom Sandoval has been systematically and pathologically mean and rude and disrespectful to this woman, and that he has not inserted himself into her relationship and subsequent marriage and subsequent divorce from Tom Schwartz. However, I put the biggest onus on Tom Schwartz because the only way that Tom Sandoval is able to divide his relationship with Katie is if Tom Schwartz allows it, right? Like no one can get between me and my partner unless I let them or unless my partner lets them, right? No one can get between us unless we allow it. So when it comes to that, I understand how Katie is really mad at Tom Sandoval because it's like, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't be that type of person to try to sabotage your quote best friend or whatever you want to call it relationship because you don't like the person he's with. Because I don't know, do you want to be with him? Is that really what's going on? Do you want to be like, does Sandoval want to be with Schwartz? He's trying to get him to move into the house. Like, is he like, I hate Katie because I want to be Katie? Maybe. Allegedly, in my opinion, who knows? So there's that. But I think that Katie has such a deep disdain and hurt. Like even like a couple episodes ago when Tom comes in because he's doing his whole like weird emo apology, non-apology tour. And like I said, looking at Tom Sandoval now, he just looks like pathetic because like all the things that made him like Tom Sandoval, like the sheen, the veil has been lifted, all of the mask has fallen. He just looks really, really pathetic. You know, his little temper tantrums and like, you know, go and capitalize off of my pain, Scheana. How dare you make a lyric in your song, Scheana? It's so ridiculous and just really like, it's basically like looking at like a little kid having a temper tantrum. Like even Schwartz is like, are you done, Tom? Like eat your chicken nuggets and shut up. You know, it's like, are you done? Like everybody with Tom Sandoval is kind of like that now. He's just like pathetic. And I don't mean that in like a nasty way because I think it is nasty to call somebody pathetic in like a mean, nasty way. But I mean it in the true sense of the word. Like he just looks really pathetic, you know? And so there's that. Where was I going with that? Was Katie pathetic? Oh yeah, Katie talking about that. Yeah. So I think that's what's going on with Katie. And even in that, oh, that's right. Even in that scene when he was doing his like little like apology tour and he goes in, he's like, Katie, can I talk to you? Like, I really like your hair that way. And she's like, thanks. And he's like, but yeah, I want to like apologize. And she's like, oh, for what? And he's like, yeah, for like your divorce. Like you had a lot going on. I piled on. She had so much hurt in her. And she was so shocked that he was even apologizing for that. She wasn't emotionally prepared to even have the conversation of him apologizing for the hurt he caused that could have, helped or hindered her getting divorced. She deflected to, oh, yeah, well, you should apologize to Ariana for like having people over. And I don't think she was trying to make it about Ariana, but sometimes when you are in a very emotionally charged situation that you're not emotionally prepared for, your brain will try to protect you from feeling that overwhelm, and you might deflect or you might numb or you might deny. And I think she was just like deflecting because I think it's still so much pain for her. And when Lala says that Katie is unhappy, I agree with that, but I'm not so much sure that she's unhappy, is that I think she might still be in the grieving process of the life she thought she would have. Because even though you might, even like with Ariana, I even give Ariana grace. I do think I understand her being angry and her being pissed and her still grieving the loss and her still being hurt. Like, I understand that. I don't think that she's not entitled to any of those feelings. So sometimes I think that, when you're grieving something, you're grieving a life you thought you had, even if that life was a fantasy, you still on some level, you believed it. And so when that fantasy is burst, when that bubble is burst, when, you find out the emperor has no clothes and you see the wizard and there's no wizard there, you're still mourning the loss of what you thought could be or what you wished could have been. And I think Katie is still mourning all of that. And I think a lot of that pain does come from Tom Sandoval. Tom Schwartz mainly should be to blame, but Tom Sandoval also has blame in that. And so I don't even think she could bring herself to even talk about it. So I think a lot of the reason why Katie is still harping on the Sandoval thing isn't so much because of Ariana, but because of her own pain caused by Tom. And she's like, why is anybody forgiving him? Why is Scheana forgiving him? Lala, why are you talking to him? And then she's doing it under the guise of Ariana, but I think it's under her own, like, well, I hate him so much. You need to hate him too. And why is anybody giving him grace? He never gave me any grace. That type of situation, So I feel like that's kind of like what's going on with all of the girls. And so Ariana is just out here doing her thing. We'll see what happens with that. So I don't know, like, what do you guys think about this? Like, what do you think about the fact that Lala's kind of hinting to, Katie feels the same way I do, but she's scared to say it on camera. And I'm tired of everybody not saying the truth. Why am I the one here left holding the bag? And then, what do you think about Katie basically trying to save something about her, but that's pretty much a wrap, and still harboring everything she has against, Tom, and then, Scheana wanting it to be about her and Ariana not being able to let go. And I don't know. What do you guys think? Put it down below. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So with that, let's move on to our next story. So, as if anybody asked her or wanted her to, Rachel Raquel is still yapping away about her experience and trying to play the victim and why she is suing Ariana. So let's dive in. So this is from Reality Blurb. It says Raquel Leviss addressed why she's suing Ariana Madix, called her actions, quote, illegal, and shaded Vanderpump Rules for continuing to bring her up as a storyline. Raquel recently claimed ex-Tom Sandoval screen recorded an intimate video of her amid their affair, while he was still in a relationship with Ariana. Raquel is suing Tom for allegedly recording the video without her consent, and she's suing Ariana for allegedly distributing it. On her Rachel Goes Rogue podcast, the star addressed her lawsuit against Ariana again. Choosing to take legal action was not something that I chose lightly, she explained. I really had to weigh all the pros and cons, and one of the cons was the public's reaction to it. I saw this coming. And that's just something that I had to debate and realize that if I want to seek legal action against Tom, then I also have to seek legal action against Ariana. She went on to say, what I did was not morally right, but recording and distributing a video is also not right. So, they are two separate instances. One is illegal, so that's hard. Raquel explained she feels guilty for potentially causing more pain. But then I also take a look at what I've been through, and what I've been through a lot. And I just don't think that's right or fair or just, she added. If we're all out to hold each other accountable, then I guess I'm doing the same. The star then addressed the criticism that she's continuing to discuss pump rules. So this is the thing. Basically, on her podcast, the only thing she talks about is herself and Vanderpump Rules. That's pretty much it. I don't listen to it. I get clips here and there on TikTok or on things. I'm not giving it a view. I'm not giving it a listen because I'm not trying to support her platform with this. Because like I said before, and then I'll get into more what the article says and what she said. Like I said before, I personally do not view Rachel as a victim. I think she's an opportunist. I think she's just mad because it didn't play out the way she thought it would. I think Rachel really thought that she was going to come out being like the new cool girl, the new queen bee. Her and Tom Sandoval would then be like the power couple on Vanderpump Rules, and she would just be like, and like trump Ariana, stick it to Lala, give it to Katie, stick it to Scheana, and she would be like the new queen of Vanderpump Rules. But the way everything played out, she obviously ended up looking like the court jester and a fool. To me, she's not a victim. I don't know how she thinks she is and won. Now, I will say this. I don't agree. If it is true, because again, these are still allegations. They haven't gone to court yet. If it is true that Tom recorded her in an intimate act without her consent, then yes. In that instance, I do believe that she is a victim of that, because no one, whether you're having an affair or not, should ever do anything to you without your consent, whether it's to you physically, whether it's to you in any type of way, without your consent. So in that instance, yes. But to be honest with you, I don't even think she should take legal action against Tom Sandoval for it. I really don't. She can, of course, that can be her prerogative. But I always kind of think about legal stuff like, what is the real core why of this? Like, if Tom had taken it without her consent and put it on, fans only, or put it on the internet, or sent it around to his friends, or threatened to use it against her, then yes, by all means, take him to court and clean him dry. Clean him dry if he did any of those things. But it seemed to me more like, and again, I'm not saying Wade was right. I'm not agreeing with it at all. I'm just saying, thinking about things from an objective, rational standpoint, we kind of need to be more rational about what are we taking to court versus what can we just sort of let go of. And if it were me, and again, it's not me, thank God, but if I were in that situation with her, as her, would I feel victimized? Yes. Would I take him to court over it? No. If he had done what I said, the other stuff, then hell yeah, I would take him to court all day long. But given just the context of what's being alleged, no, I wouldn't, because we're already broken up. There's already no more contact. He didn't have any intent to threaten me with it or to blackmail me with it, or he didn't put it online. He didn't distribute it. I would just be like, delete that forever. We're already done. Let's just move on with our lives. And then for me, that's a lesson learned to not put myself, and not that, and when I say this, I want to be very clear. By no means am I saying it is her fault. By no means am I victim blaming. By no means am I saying it's her responsibility. Absolutely not. I'm just saying that would just be a lesson to never put myself in that position again where someone could record me in an intimate act without my consent or knowledge. But just because you can learn a lesson from something doesn't mean that what happened to you is your fault. I want to be very, very clear with that, because I don't want anyone to hear this and think that if something has happened to them, that they deserved it or it was their fault. That's not true. Okay. But we can take lessons from things that happen to protect ourselves moving forward, but it doesn't mean it was your fault. That's what I would do if I was her when it comes to Tom Sandoval. When it comes to the whole Ariana situation about she distributed it, take the L, Rachel. Just take the L. Rachel is just pissed because Bravo wasn't going to pay her what she thought she deserved. That's really what this is about. To me, this is nothing but a very privileged, spoiled little girl, to quote Mary Cosby, having a temper tantrum and using her privilege and her money and her means to throw that temper tantrum in the court of law. Take the L, Rachel. Leave Ariana alone. You cosplayed in this woman's face. And again, regardless of the state of Ariana and Tom's relationship, Rachel knew exactly what she was doing. She knew they were in a quote relationship, whether it was a good one or a bad one, they were together. She cosplayed in this woman's face like she was her friend the whole time, giving blowies and having sex with her boyfriend, not just behind her back, but in her home. And you want to take this woman to court because she saw you pleasuring yourself on her, at that time's boyfriend, life partner phone? And again, Ariana, to my knowledge, again, these are allegations, so just to my knowledge, I've never seen this video. It's not on TikTok. It's not on Fans Only. It's not on the dark web. It's not on Reddit. It's not on Dumas. Nobody in the public realm has seen this, right? So what exactly is Rachel mad at? Like, what is she mad about? Like, it would be one thing if Ariana took it too far and an anonymous source leaked it to the world and now it's out there. To my personal knowledge, it's not. So what exactly is she mad about? And it doesn't seem like it was like sent around their friend group. It was like, oh, maybe she sent it to Scheana. Maybe she showed it to her. Maybe something in the heat of the moment. Again, just take the L. Everything that happens doesn't need a lawsuit. Even if what the person did, technically, down to the letter of the law, but not the spirit of the law, because our law is, for better or for worse, up to interpretation, which is why you get very different sentencings for people for the same exact crime, right? Two people could commit the same exact crime. Somebody might be charged with manslaughter. Somebody might be charged with murder. Same exact crime. Somebody might get life. Somebody might get probation. Same exact crime. Because people are allowed to interpret the law based on the spirit of the law. So just because somebody does something to the letter of the law that might be illegal doesn't mean you need to sue them. Like, Rachel, shut up and take the L. And another reason why I am disgusted by Rachel, and I'm so tired of her trying to pretend like she's a victim, is because everything she's done since Scandoval has dropped has been self-serving. And I'm not saying that she can't go out and get her bag. I'm not saying that she can't go out and, do what she needs to do to get her money or whatever it is. But how are you mad at Vanderpump Rules using you as a storyline when now your entire brand and everything you do is based on Vanderpump Rules? You're mutually using each other, because without Vanderpump Rules, we wouldn't know who you are, Rachel. Like, hello. And your whole podcast is about Vanderpump Rules. Now, this is what she says. She says, but I then also take a look at what I've been through. Oh, we already went to that. I would like to stay away from Vanderpump Rules. Unfortunately, this show is still bringing me up as a topic of discussion, as a storyline point, she said. So it's only natural for me to want to not only defend myself, but share my experience with this, because there's more to the story than just this black and white. This is a villain. This is a hero, and that's it. It's way more nuanced than that. To be honest with you, she's delusional because the show, it really hasn't been talking about her. It's really been more talking about Tom. They rarely bring her up, and I don't think they even really use her name other than like if James or Sandoval are kind of being like, oh, Raquel said this and blah, blah, blah. But she herself really is not a storyline. It's really more about Tom Sandoval's, is this a redemption arc for him or not? That's really what the storyline is this season. Can Tom Sandoval be redeemed? That is the story arc. And, if you guys are writers out there or storytellers, especially in like script or anything like that, that you always have story A, story B, story C, right? And so story A will be like the main story that goes from the first episode, that's the big question in episode 1 that gets resolved at the very end episode. And then baked in, you have a story B, a story C, a story D, all of that stuff, right? So story A is really not about Rachel because she's not there. Story A this season is, and it's always formed in a question, can Tom Sandoval be redeemed? That is the big story arc. Has nothing really to do with Rachel. She's not there. So her whole thing about I need to defend myself and they're using it as a storyline, well, duh, because what you did affected the people who are still there. Of course, Katie is still going to talk about it, and Ariana is going to talk about it, and Lala is going to talk about it, and Sandoval is going to talk about it, and Schwartz is going to talk about it, and Joe is going to talk about it, because what you did affected all of these people. And this is the gag. And again, why I don't think she's a victim in all of this, and she needs to just stop suing people and kind of quietly go away, is nobody asked you to do this, Rachel. Like, it would be one, and then she tries to like villainize the production and Bravo and blah, blah, blah. And she has such a disdain for Ariana. Rachel, why are you mad at Ariana? She was like the only one who was like nice to you. Why are you so mad at her? You're mad at her because you thought you were going to have her life, and that's not what ended up happening for you. Girl, you thought you were going to move into that big old mansion with Tom and sell into the sunset, and that didn't happen, did it? You thought you were going to be the queen of Vanderpump Rules. That didn't happen, did it? This is the gag, Rachel, and this is why, again, you're not a victim. Nobody asked you to do this. Andy Cohen, Lisa Vanderpump, Alex Baskin, Bravo, NBC, Shed Media. Nobody asked you. Nobody said, hey, you know what would be a great storyline? If you were having sex with Tom Sandoval behind Ariana's back. If you do that, we'll make you a star. No, nobody asked you. You did that with your own big girl panties on. You did that when they weren't even filming the show. You did that literally off the clock, off camera, on your own accord. So why are you now mad? Nobody told you to do that. That was a decision you made. And also, you're a grown adult. Like, you're almost 30. Get it together. It's like you have you have like the fantasy in your mind. It's like the Taylor Swift effect, where people always think that Taylor Swift is like some young girl who's like, I'm just singing about my high school boyfriend. It's like, no, Taylor, you're like 35 or 30, whatever, however she is. Like, you're a grown woman. Get it together, So it's just disgusting. It's absolutely just disgusting. And I'm just not here for it. I think it's really sad and really pathetic that she's still trying to malign and go after any of these people when nobody told you to bust it open for Tom. You busted it open for him all by yourself. Girl, bye. So let's see. Let's see if she said anything else interesting. So she goes on to say, though she chose to stop being an active participant on the show, Raquel said the series is bringing me in involuntarily. We've already covered that. Of course they are, because this is a reality show, and it would make no sense if they didn't talk about reality. I have no choice what they say about me, she explained. But with time, I will be removed from Vanderpump Rules, and I honestly don't feel like I'm missing the cast members of the show. I think I'm sharing things honestly and being reflective of my own relationship that I've had with certain people from more of a healed place. Having my own podcast is part of what makes me feel so empowered today. That I get to reclaim my narrative, she added. I get to, as much as possible, take away, Vanderpump Rules' power to create whatever narrative they want about me, which they're doing anyway. I feel like it's very unrealistic to expect somebody to completely disconnect and dissociate from something that has been so integral to their development of who they are today. Shut up, Rachel, shut up. You're literally talking about the fact that you chose to have a sexual affair with a man that you knew was in a relationship, and you chose to pretend to be that man's girlfriend's friend, dear best friend. Those are all the decisions that you made by yourself. I don't think Tom Sandoval, brainwashed her or, rhymes with broomed her. I don't think all that. I don't think Tom Sandoval has that much mystical, magical power. As we see, look at him. He's pathetic. He's not this big mastermind. He really isn't. He's kind of just sort of like weaselly, low self-esteem, narcissistic qualities, always chasing something, looking for worth guy. He's not this diabolical mastermind. He's really kind of weaselly and pathetic when you really look at him. I think she was more than a willing participant because she thought she was going to be the star. She thought she was going to get over on all the girls and become the star. I think she was very much a willing participant. But I want to know what you guys think, put it down below. What do you think about, Rachel having her podcast and talking about everybody every single week? What do you think about her suing Ariana and suing Tom? Yeah, let me know what you think. Put it down below. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So with that, let's get more into what's going on this season. Let's do that. Okay, I'll go down the line and just do a quick overview on all of the cast members. So James, to be honest, James has such a glow up. To me, James is like the Candace of Potomac, where it's like we've seen them grow emotionally and mentally. We've seen them sort of have this glow up. We've seen their careers take off. I feel like James, he's really funny and he seems to have really, really matured. Like the way he ate Sandoval up this episode. He ate every inch of him up. He just went off on him. He was like, yeah, it wasn't love with you and Rachel. Ariana wasn't giving you any sex and you go downstairs and get blowies and I'm not going to open for your band because your band is dead. Like what? Like I forgot what he said to him, everything, but I just remember James ate Sandoval all the way up and he just looked very like pathetic and withered in a corner. And James's DJing career is off the chain. He's doing really big things and he's super funny. I feel like James has kind of, if Vanderpump Rules continues this downward spiral, I think James has outgrown the show in the sense of he should really focus on DJing and doing TikTok or something. Because I feel like he's going to get to the point where it's going to be a detriment for him to be on the show. Again, with Allie. And also, it seems to me like everybody on the show is bored. Like, it just seems very flat. It seems very inauthentic. It seems like everybody literally is just clocking in and clocking out. Like, let me just show up, blah, 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 blah. Send me the check. Okay. Like nobody seems connected. None of these people really seem like they're friends or anymore. And they all just seem like they're in such different places in life. It doesn't make sense for the show anymore. Like, do they even still film at Pump or Sir? Are these places even open anymore? Who knows? Anyway, so that's kind of where I feel with James. I do think he's really funny. I think he's doing a great job, but I feel like he should just focus on DJing and the music and all of that stuff. Allie, again, I still think she's like an AI robot. I'm not sure if she's real. She is a sniper from the side. She's not this innocent little fairy that she pretends to be. She stirs the pot. I don't know if it's production telling her to be the bone character, the bone collector, or if she's doing it for relevancy. But if you really look at it, she has done a lot of Katie said this, and Lala said this, and Ariana said this, and blah, 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 and really setting these seeds and spinning things that people said and bringing it back and causing a lot of drama because, very similar to Rachel, nobody sees Allie as a threat. Nobody takes Allie that seriously. You know what I mean? The girls don't really take Allie seriously. They don't. So they don't see her as a threat. So when she comes to them with the bone, they take the bone as if it's the truth because it's little Allie. Didn't they do the same thing with Rachel? Nobody took Rachel seriously. Nobody. And she turned out to be the biggest snake of them all. I would keep my eye out for little AI Allie. I think she has a lot more going on than, I don't know. And then she wants to be her little Taylor Swift and doing her TikToks and her music videos and all of that, her little come up. Again, I'm not going to knock anybody's hustle or dream, but it's giving opportunist. It's giving sniper from the side. It's giving Allie is not as innocent as she likes to portray. I don't think she's really that into James. I said it from jump. I see zero chemistry between the two of them. She seems to me like she tolerates him and she treats him like a dog. Like, I'm training him. He's over there in the corner. Oh, James, oh, James, oh, James. Like, I don't see any chemistry there. And when it comes to James, I feel like James just wants love that he's willing to get it anywhere. If I was James, I would just be careful with Allie. I don't know. And then her saying to him, I don't know if I want kids. To me, that would be, we're breaking up. Not whether or not, not because she doesn't want kids, but because he does. And he's like, well, I don't want to do another Rachel and waste 5 years. Well, what are you doing, babe? Because it depends on where you are in your life and where you are in your life. I don't mean age, because we're always like age shaming women. How old are you? You don't have kids. You got the times clicking. I don't mean age. What I mean by where you are in your life is, I mean by that, like where you personally are. Like if you are in a place where you're like, I'm ready to find my person. And if you want to get married, I want to have marriage. If you want kids, let's have the children. If you are in that place where you're not dating just for like fun and to hang out and for hookups, but you're actually dating for your life partner, then a year and a half in, you want children and your partner says they don't, then you need to have a serious conversation about that. Or else you're going to do what he did before. You're going to spend 5 more years with the wrong person who you're not compatible with. Don't sit there in denial thinking someone's going to change and they don't. Because if somebody tells you this is what I want, this is what I don't want, it means one of two things. It means 1, they don't want those things, or it means 2, they don't want those things with you. And people will waste your time. They will have you being a placeholder. They will know in their heart that they don't want marriage or they don't want marriage with you, and they will still have sex with you. They will still date you. They will still take you out. They will still buy a house with you. I'm looking at you, Tom Sandoval. I'm looking at you. You know what I mean? They will buy a house with you. They will marry you. I'm looking at you, Tom Schwartz. They will marry you. But then never make you happy. Never have the kids, all of that stuff. They'll do all of those things knowing in their hearts of hearts, they are never going to give you what you actually want or need. So if somebody says that to you, I don't want to be married. I'm looking at you. I love her, but Dr. Nicole and Anthony in Miami. When Anthony says, I don't want to be married, you best believe him. He doesn't want to be married. Now, when it comes to them, I think he doesn't want to be married. I don't think it's that he doesn't want to be married to her. I just don't think he wants to be married, right? Because that's what it means. It's either I don't want this thing or I don't want this thing with you. That's really what it is. You got to be careful because people will waste your time. And then you hear that story every single time where it's like the girl who waited for 6 years for the guy, she finally ended things with him. And 6 months later, he's married with a kid with the next chick. We hear those stories all of the time, right? All the time. So just be careful with that one, James, because I actually really like James. He's grown a lot, he's matured a lot, and he has a lot going on, and he seems to be really healthy. So I want a lot of good things with him. So we'll see. But Allie doesn't like you, James. She doesn't. You need to wake up. She's only in it for the TikTok. I'm telling you. Scheana. Oh, Scheana, Bobina. What are we going to do with you, girl? I don't even know where to start with Scheana. I feel Sheena's like a lost puppy, but I don't even know with her. I'm waiting for the headline: Scheana Shay and Brock to divorce. Not that I'm wishing that, because I don't want any karma. So I'm not wishing that on her or anybody, because I'm not putting that energy out there, because I don't want that energy back. But I wouldn't be surprised if they split. Like, I don't think anybody would be like, oh, didn't see that coming. I don't know why she was with him in the first place. I don't know. And again, I think what's going on with Scheana and the girls is Sheena's clinging to Lala, because Lala is really saying all the things that Scheana, if Scheana says, she gets dragged and she can't handle it. And also she's scared to say. So she's kind of sort of like clinging to Lala. I do think Scheana has some resentment towards Ariana because, in my opinion, Ariana is kind of being a crappy friend. You know, I get it. She's going through something hard, but at the same time, when you are asking people to step up and be this sort of like soldier for you, you're either on my team or his team, but yet you're not reciprocating that same level of friendship. Like, she's basically, the way that Ariana looks at Scheana is like with disgust. Like when Scheana and Brock came over to help her clean her house, I would be so grateful. I'd be like, oh my God, you're coming to help me. Like, thank you. Like, can I get you some champagne? You know, can I get you some lemonade? Like, let's make this like a fun day. Thank you for coming over. Ariana just stood there with like a stank face and kept like being really rude to her. And I'm like, she's showing up to be your friend. You keep saying you want your friends to help you and to rally around you. And I don't know how many people would come with their husbands to clean out your house, and you're standing there with a stank face on. Ariana was also very dismissive to Scheana when Scheana was talking to her about Dancing with the Stars, you know? And I agree with Scheana. You can be sad for yourself and also happy for somebody else. You know, like say, for example, you're trying to get pregnant and you thought you were, and it turns out you weren't. And then your best friend is like, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant. You could be really sad that you're not, while still being really happy that your friend is. You know, it's any dream, it's any, you know, something that you want to have 100%. So Sheena's isn't being a hater. She isn't being jealous. She's being very honest and very vulnerable. And I applaud her for that. It's better than her being her usual people pleaser person type, where she just says yes to go along to get along and doesn't really say anything. And then it always comes back to bite her in the butt, because then she always ends up looking two-faced, or like she's straddling the fence, because she's not being honest. She's just being a people pleaser, you know, which Scheana has done in the past. So I was good that she was saying that, because I would feel the same exact way. We all, like, we have to be honest. We all would. If you had a dream of whatever it was, you wanted to be on Dancing with the Stars, and that was your dream, and you really wanted to do it, and you were practicing for it, and then your friend gets it, and your friend doesn't even tell you, you find out like the rest of the world, like you're just another fan. And Ariana could have told Scheana. She's like, oh, I had an NDA. No, you didn't, because you posted it on Instagram and your boyfriend knew, because Daniel was the one who told Scheana. Daniel told Scheana, and Scheana saw it on Instagram. So did you break your NDA when you told your boyfriend Daniel? Did you break your NDA when you posted on Instagram? No, because you had an NDA up into a certain date. And then after that date, you told the people you wanted to tell, which was not Scheana. So don't use the excuse of an NDA, because if anybody else knows about it, then clearly you weren't under the NDA or you broke it. So miss me with this whole Ariana had an NDA. Well, then how did Daniel know? You know what I mean? So I feel like, yeah, I feel like, where was I going with that? Yeah. So with Ariana and Scheana, I feel like she's not really a good friend to her. And I feel like Scheana feels that. Now, what I think is the most interesting thing about Scheana is what's going to happen with her and Brock. Because he clearly was in it, in my opinion, for a green card and for a come up and to be on reality TV and to get some money. They don't seem happy. He's called the payroll husband. We called this from jump. There's that preview where she's like, well, I thought you thought that this would be like a second chance to be a dad or a second chance to be a father. And he kind of has this like weird look on his face. This is another cautionary tale. Since we're talking about, relationships and all of that stuff, this is another cautionary tale. Never date or marry or have children with someone who you're banking on their potential of what you think they could be. That is fantastical thinking. That's delusional thinking. That is living in a fantasy world. And I think that's what Scheana does. She's like, I want everything to look perfect. I'm just going to pretend everything is perfect when it's clearly not. Because if she was thinking with any type of rational brain, she never would have messed with Brock in the first place. She should have hit it and quit it. Yeah. A little you up text and have some fun with him. If that's her thing, he's not attractive. In my opinion, I don't think he's an attractive person. No disrespect. I'm not talking about anybody's looks in a mean way. I'm just saying, to my personal taste, he's not my taste. Like, I don't think he's an attractive guy in that way. Just my personal taste. I'm not saying he's unattractive in general. But if that's her thing, then, girl, you like it. I love it. Do you? But Brock was never, in my personal opinion, long-term serious material. Number one, you're a fan of the show. If I am a principal player on a TV show, a movie, I'm a huge influencer, whatever the case may be, I'm not seriously dating a fan who slid into my DMs. It's too, and I'm not being misogynistic or sexist. I'm just saying how I feel as a woman. I would never do that. I do think the dynamic is different when it's a man with a fangirl. I do. Maybe I am misogynistic. We live in a patriarchal system. Maybe not. I don't really care. Not in a negative way, but just how it is. I do think there's a difference between when it's a man and a woman. To me, I wouldn't do it. Fun time, knock yourself out. But beyond that stuff, Brock is who he is. He's a man who has put his hands on a woman. He caught a domestic V case for putting his hands on the mother of his children. He is a man who fled the country that his children resided in. He is a man who made no qualms about not financially supporting his children, made no qualms about not emotionally or mentally or spiritually being present for his children. He literally left the country. So if you know who this person is. So then for you to flash forward 2 years, now that you're married with a kid and he's being him, which is arrogant, misogynistic, avoidant, non-supportive, a little bit of verbally abusive, probably more so. I'm just saying what we see on the show. I'm not saying physically because we haven't seen it. She hasn't said it, so I'm not going there. I'm only going by what we've actually seen. But we know he has been physically abusive because he's admitted that on the show. Now that it's you're shocked and you're like, you thought that he would want a second chance at being a dad. Who told you that, Scheana? Did you make that fantasy up in your head? Did he tell you that? Or is that a fantasy you made up? Because you need to, when you get serious with somebody and beyond marriage, having a child with someone, because that's the true life commitment, because regardless if that person is in your life or not, that person's presence and absence will always have an effect on your child. That child could never meet the father, and the absence of that father will fundamentally affect that child for its rest of its life. I'm not saying that that child can't, work through it, get some therapy, work through stuff, but I don't care. If you're being honest, the absence of a parent, father or mother, fundamentally has an effect on a child. That's just therapy 101. Fundamentally has an effect. Doesn't have to have a negative effect for life, detrimental effect forever. Absolutely not. There are fully functioning, healthy people who grew up with absent mothers or absent fathers, 100%, but they had to work through some stuff. That is just life. That is just life. So the biggest decision you make, the number one biggest decision is who you choose to have children with, because their presence or absence will fundamentally affect that child. Secondly is who you choose to marry. So be careful. Don't be a Scheana. Don't marry and have children with the potential or idea of a fantasy person when you choose to ignore all of the red flags of who the person actually is. But Scheana herself can sometimes be a little shady and grimy too. Like, remember when Brock and Scheana were going to hijack James and Rachel's engagement party, and they were going to get married there, and like Lala and Tom Sandoval had to like squash it and be like, no, don't do that. That's really like, you can't hijack their moment. Like, that was really weird. And then they were trying to also get Randall to pay for like some big engagement for them because they didn't want to pay for it. So that was also really weird. So they're kind of both moving kind of grimy. And like I said before, like, people can fall on hard times financially. So I'm never putting that out there. So when I talk about, people on hard times financially, it's not from a judgment place, because again, you could be a millionaire today, homeless tomorrow, homeless today, a millionaire tomorrow. Things can be fickle and things can be fast. So I'm not trying to put that out there because I don't want that coming back on me. But with that being said, Scheana talking about how during the pandemic and she's pregnant and she has no income coming in and she's worried about money. Don't you have a whole husband or fiance or baby daddy? Because I don't know when they got married. I can't remember if they got married before or after Summer was born. But don't you have a whole man sleeping next to you named Brock? Why is he not out there grinding everything he has in him to make sure that the mother of his about to be born child in his household is taken care of? You see? And then she was giving him money to do his app. She gave him like 10K, and she's like, oh, we have some contract. Again, it wouldn't be me. I am a feminist through and through. But the way I define feminist is women having the choice to do whatever they want to do. That to me is the definition of being a feminist. Nobody telling you what to do. So if Scheana wants to give her man money, knock yourself out. Would that be me? Hell no, absolutely not. Never, 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 never. No, thank you. But I say that to say this. If you are in a relationship with someone and he happens to fall in hard times, but you know his character, you know the partnership that you have, you know that you have a good foundation, then yeah, of course, I would help, because you never know what happens in life. Things happen, you never know. Of course. But that's not what Scheana and Brock had. That's why I mean, if I was in her place, hell no. Because look at where they're at now. There's no problem with a woman helping out her man if they have that solid, healthy foundation, if it is a true partnership, if she knows his character, and if she knows that this is a circumstance of what he's going through versus this is the reality of who this person is. Those are two different things. If it's the reality of who this person is, which is a Brock, no, I'm keeping my money where it's at with me. If it's a circumstance of what he's going through and we have a foundation, then of course I'm going to support my partner 100%. But you have to have that level of discernment to know what you're dealing with. But now you have Scheana out here looking like a damn fool, talking about I'm pregnant with a whole man in my house, no income coming in, and Tom Sandoval has to PayPal us some money to get through when I have a whole man here doing nothing that I've already given my money to, that is now verbally abusing me on national television because the way he talks to Scheana like garbage, like trash, we've seen it on TV. Word on the street is he's sliding in the DMs of Australian influencers. He's out here wearing high heels every day. That's not derogatory by any means. I'm just saying you never know what's going on, you know. I don't know. You know, if that is indicative of his sexuality, that's fine. You know, we're not judging that. But if you're in a committed marriage and he has those tendencies, that could be very hurtful. Not the fact that he has them, because obviously we're inclusive here and, you know, love is love, that's fine. But that would still be a betrayal to her, regardless of who he's cheating with or not cheating with, is what I'm trying to say. So that Scheana girl, these are a lot of cautionary tales, to be honest with you. James, AI Alley, you need to give her butt the boot. Send her back to her whatever farm in Idaho she came from. Send her back. She's not the one for you. She told you to your face she doesn't want to have children. To me, I think that was just her biding time. I think what she's really saying is, I don't want to have children with you. This isn't long term. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. The moment these cameras are wrapped, I'm out. That's my assessment on that one. Tom Sandoval. To me, he just is, like I've said before, there's not too much more to say about him. He's just really sad, really just pathetic. I mean, there's nothing there anymore with Tom. You know, I don't know why. I was never like into him like in that way at all. But like, he never seemed this pathetic to me. You know, watching Vanderpump Rules. I don't know, maybe now because I'm like older watching it and everything that's come about. But like, he was never this like weaselly or slimy, or I don't know. It just feels like the whole veil has just been dropped, and we just sort of see this sort of like weaselly, very pathetic type of person. You know, like all of his usual tactics aren't working. Like trying to gaslight people, it's not working. Trying to play the victim, it's not working. You know, trying to guilt people, it's like none of what the stuff that he usually does is working. None of it is landing. Even Schwartz is like, dude, get it together. Like, you look like a mess. Like, none of it's working. So I don't know what's going on with him. Good luck with him and his little PR relationship. Tom Schwartz. Ugh. Tom Schwartz, I don't need him on my screen anymore. Like, what is the purpose or function of Tom Schwartz? I do like his new girlfriend, Sophia. She's cute. She's a vibe. I like her. She's like a little influencer chick. I like her. She's cute. Let's talk about him and Joe, because that's really interesting. Now, do I feel bad for Joe? Or Kaylee? I think her real name is Kaylee, but she goes by Joe now, so I'll just call her Joe. No, because number one, you're lying. And number two, I don't buy the act. I don't buy the act, and she's a liar. So on those two things, I don't like her. And I'll break down what I mean by that. What I mean by I don't buy the act is this whole like, oh, I'm just so goofy and weird, and I have ADHD, and I have all these things going on, and girl, bye, stop, shush. Because I think that a lot of that is just like, I don't know, what word am I looking for? A lot of it is just surface distraction. I think Joe is a lot more with it, a lot more has an agenda. Lala's like, Joe's harmless. Joe's harmless. I don't know. She's not harmless. She didn't get where she is by being harmless. I think she knew exactly what she was doing. I think she knew that, Tom and Katie had just broken up. She was friends with Katie, friends with Kristen, don't text, because she was like texting Katie, like, I'm here for you, blah, 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 and all this stuff. And then go shack up with my soon to be ex-husband. No, thank you. If you are interested in having sex with a man that I am about to divorce, who I'm still legally married to, separated from, don't text me not nan thing ever in life. Ever. I don't need your condolences. I don't need your I'm sorry, girl. I don't need a thumbs up emoji. I don't need nothing from you if your intention is to go and then have sex with the man that I'm about to divorce. Get out of my face. That to me shows me the character of who this woman is. Unless you're coming to me and saying, hey, Katie, like, I know that we're not the best of friends, but we are associated, or we're friends, or whatever the case may be. They're in the same circle. Joe has been around for years. She knows Kristen. They've all been to parties together. They clearly know each other in the same circles. You know what I'm saying? They're at the same cookout. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're coming to me and you're saying, hey, Candy, listen, I know we run in the same circles, or whatever, however you want to phrase it. We're cool. We know each other. And I know that you and Tom Schwartz are about to divorce. I just want to come to you woman to woman and let you know I'm seeing him. I like him. He likes me. I'm going to move in, whatever the case is. Let me know. And this is just what I would do personally. Let me know how you want to move forward, and I will respect what your boundaries are. If you, don't want to be cool with me anymore, I understand. If you want to just, be cordial, if we run into each other, a little hi, bye, cool. If you want to keep things still friendly, I'm cool with that too. But I want to know how you want to navigate this moving forward. That is what I would do if I was an idiot like Joe. But to be honest with you, I wouldn't be in that situation at all, because that just sounds messy as hell. Unless this guy was like literally the love of my life, my divine partner sent from God, unless it's like this undeniable, we are in love, this is my person, my person, my person. Unless it's that, I'm not messing with that. I'm not messing with the Tom Schwartz, Katie, cheating, person that I run in the same circles with situation. It's too messy. It's too nasty. And there's literally billions of people, more than a billion people on this planet for me to go get my rocks off with. Right? So that right there in and of itself told me exactly who Joe was. What confirmed who Joe was the fact that now she's lying like we're Boo Boo the Fool, that she didn't know that Rachel and Tom Sandoval were having an affair on Ariana. She straight drove Rachel to Big Bear to hook up with Tom because she wanted to do a little double date. Well, all of them did. She was going to be with Tom Schwartz, and then Rachel was going to be with Tom Sandoval. And then for her to sit up here and be like, no, I didn't know. I thought that him and her were broken up. No, that's a lie. You knew Tom Sandoval and Ariana were together. Now, you should just be honest and say, yeah, I knew where they were together, but we didn't respect their relationship, because that's the truth of the situation. You knew they were together. You just didn't care because you didn't respect Ariana and you didn't respect their situation. And the person I blame for that is Tom Sandoval, because it should have been his job, if he was any type of real man, but we know the type of man he is. If he was any type of a real man, whether or not he was having issues with his girlfriend, he would have made the situation whereas nobody could disrespect their relationship. And that's really what happened. They didn't respect Ariana, and they didn't respect the relationship that she was in with Tom. That's why they felt so emboldened and encouraged to basically have this affair in plain sight and plain everybody's faces like they were. because that is the environment he facilitated for them. But as we know, Tom Sandoval really ain't about nothing. But if he were a real man, regardless of the situation, is still going to have a basic level of respect for the woman that he's with, that he would not create an environment where any other female thought she had the right to disrespect it. But they're not dealing with real men. You see what I'm saying? And Joe is a liar. So I don't trust you. And if I don't trust you, I don't trust the act. Do I think she maybe has like ADHD or whatever she said she had? And I'm not trying to make light of that by any means at all. Obviously, you guys know that. I'm not trying to make light of it. I think that's what she said. If she said something else, or if I'm misdiagnosing, I'm not diagnosing her, but if I'm misremembering what she said, I apologize. But I think she said she had that. Okay, that's cool. You can have it. You can have whatever the case may be. But I think she's using that as sort of a facade to get away with stuff. Very similar to how Tom Schwartz is a covert narcissist, in my opinion, where he uses the like, "Ooh, I don't know what's going on, guys. What? Oh, I just forgot, or it's just me, or I was just drunk and I cheated on you, Katie, while we were married, but I'm just Tom Schwartz and I just forgot. Oh, little. It's like they use this sort of like bumbling fool persona, gimmick, shtick to get away with the dirt they want to do. So I'm on to you, Joe. I'm not buying this whole bumbling fool shtick that you're doing. Do I think that's a part of your personality? Yeah. Do I think you're kind of quirky? Sure. But I'm also not buying the whole act, because you're not going to sit here and tell me that you and Tom are like just really good bros and really good friends. And then all of a sudden we find out you guys have been having this sexual relationship and you've been living with him and you treat his dogs like they're your dogs. And, you say, I love you. And then you have this sort of like panic attack when he's like, yeah, I was just using you for sex, broski, like, duh, that was what the deal was. Why did you think this was anything else? And then you sort of like have this whole panic attack, like, girl, you were clearly screwing him for over a year and a half, which is what she finally comes out and admits. Like, we were together for a year and a half. So in Big Bear, you were screwing Tom Schwartz and Rachel was screwing Tom Sandoval. So you knew what the deal was, because there's no way now you're like having all of this, like, and it sucks because in a vacuum, I felt bad for her, like girl to girl, I felt bad for her, because we've all been in those situations where it's like, but wait a minute, I thought this was going somewhere, but like at 3 a.m, you tell me you love me. Like, wait, what? Like, I thought like you keeping me a secret was like our thing. Like, what? Like stupid girl stuff, right? Dating a stupid guy, whatever. We've all had those situations, whether you're the guy or the girl, where you're like, but wait, I thought this was like something. And they're like, nah, like I thought we were just like having fun. Like, no, I wasn't having fun. Like all that stuff. So like in a vacuum, like I totally felt for her. And I was like, oh my God, girl, like come over, have some rosé. We'll watch TV, we'll order pizza, and we'll like, send him mean text, whatever, like silly girl stuff. But the fact that she is so shady, and the fact that she is a liar, and the fact that she tried to gaslight Katie, like Katie was the crazy one for being upset about her, that Katie was bullying her, and that Scheana was bullying her. Those girls weren't bullying you, Joe. They were just on to you. They were just on to you. Joe was the type of girl who was like a guy's girl. She's just one of the guys, and then she's secretly having sex with your boyfriend. But like, you're crazy for thinking something's going on because Joe is just one of the guys. Do you know what I mean? Exactly, SJ, calling her Joseph. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, they were just on to you. Katie, and I get it. Katie is going to have the wrath for anybody who she feels crosses her when it comes to Tom Schwartz. So that's why she had all the smoke for Joe, because Joe was trying to play in her face, sending her text messages and being friends with her, and then icing out Kristen, because Kristen's like, wait a minute, Katie's one of my best friends. What do you mean you're having sex with the man she is married to, about to divorce? Wait, what? Ices Kristen out. But then Katie has a lot of really great things to say about Tom's new girlfriend, Sophia, who I actually think is I think she's quite cute and really cool and really interesting. I like Sophia. And Katie likes her too, because again, Sophia didn't do anything dirty or grimy. She's just a girl that Tom is now dating and seeing, which is normal. So again, Katie gets this bad rap for being a bully and being mean, when Katie's just like, no, like, you crossed me and I'm going to cross you right back. And that's just how Katie is. And I understand that. Like, I personally wouldn't have given Joe the time of day, but I understand how Katie felt, because don't sit here and play in my face while you're having sex with the man I'm married to, getting divorced, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, don't do that. Don't do that. So Joe, I'm on to you. Like, the whole shtick, it's played out. It's boring. It's dumb. And I do think that she does that as a way to deflect and a way to not take accountability, because and you also, how that I know that too, is because it drops, because it's hard to keep up that persona all of the time if that's not really who you truly are. Because that whole goofy Joseph, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm so weird, ew, that dropped real quick when they were at the singles party, when it was Sandoval and Tom Schwartz and Joe, and they were at the singles party, and he was flirting with the girl and kissing and all that stuff. She became a very normal person very, very quickly. She was like a normal chick who was pissed off that the man she's sleeping with is flirting with another chick in front of her face, and the man that is refusing to claim her in public is now flirting with somebody in public. She became a normal girl real quick. She wasn't goofing around then. She didn't have any shtick then. She was very much like, what the hell are you doing? Give him his hat back. Like, what is going on? She was a regular chick real quick. Real quick. So, yeah. Okay. That's kind of what I feel about him. Lisa Vanderpump. Love Lisa. No notes for her. Are you guys watching Vanderpump Villa? I just caught up last night. It is so good. I mean, so good. It's heartfelt. It's interesting. It's funny. It's diverse in a non-icky way. Like and by diverse, I mean, it has like, Black people and white people and all of that stuff, but it all makes sense. It's not, nobody feels like a diversity hire, or they're just, we have to get this type of person in. Like, it's all very authentic and it all makes sense. And I love it. I'm gonna recap the first 5 episodes. I'm really, really into it. I think it's super, super interesting. Now, everybody is a hot ass mess. I mean, they're a hot mess. But it's really interesting, and I'm really here for it. And it's different than what I thought it was going to be. Refreshingly different than what I thought. So, but we'll get into that when I'll do a second one on that one. But if you guys are watching Vanderpump Villa. Okay, so Ariana. Now, I really don't mean to bash Ariana. I really don't. That is not my intent. I'm not jealous of her. I have no venom towards her. I wish her nothing but the best and happiness. But I am who I am. And from day one, I've never liked her. Not on a personal level, because I don't know these people. So none of this is personal. This is just the persona that she plays on a reality show. So me as a content creator who does commentary, this is my observation on a reality personality persona. Okay. I know you candy canes know that. I just have to say that for the random people who think this is a personal attack against Ariana. I don't know her. It cannot be personal. I've never warmed up to her persona that she has on the show, and I still can't. As a human being, as a woman, I do have empathy for her, because even if you're in a bad relationship, being publicly humiliated and publicly cheated on and betrayed is really hurtful and is really sad and is very devastating. So all of the pain and all of the hurt and all the anger she has is 100% justified. And I'm not taking that away from her by any means. With that being said, I don't see any redeeming qualities in her. She seems to still be very dismissive to the girls. To me, the only people I see her genuinely being nice to is like Logan. Because when people tell you who they are, believe them. She said straight up on Call Her Daddy that the people on Vanderpump Rules, the girls, she was like, she was like, I don't know them. She goes, they're not my inner circle. I don't know them like that. Logan is my real friend. Like those people, right? That is the only people I see her showing real love and affection and friendship towards. She looks at Scheana like Scheana is a joke. I don't think she takes Scheana seriously at all. She's never like Lala and never will like Lala. She pretends when it's convenient, but Ariana does not like Lala. Let's be serious. Katie, she was never nice to Katie because Sandoval never liked Katie. And then look what she did with Something About Her. I don't think that shop is ever going to open. It basically looks like a different place now from what I saw. I got to confirm that though. You know, she was never nice to Katie. And I feel like her and Katie now are still allies because they have a common enemy, which is Sandoval, for two separate reasons. But I think that's an alliance out of convenience. I'm not sure that's an alliance out of true friendship. And she doesn't have to rock with these people. Like, she doesn't have to. But she still just seems to have this, I am cooler than you, holier than thou, I'm above it all, dismissive attitude. And it's still there. There's no humility there. And when I say humility, I don't mean that she has to not be confident, not believe in herself, not take opportunities. I don't mean kiss butt. That's not what I mean by that. Humility to me is being confident in who you are, but it's also rooted in gratitude for yourself and for others. That's to me what being humble is. You know, confidence in self, but grace and gratitude towards yourself and others, right? That's the humility in it. And I don't see that in her. Like, the way she looked at Scheana when Scheana was like, I want to Dancing with the Stars, and you know, you don't talk to me and all this stuff, and Scheana's basically like, please be friends with me, and she's like, yeah, and she has a little smirk on her face. I don't mean to bash her, but I got to tell you how I feel about it, and I just never got anything warm from her. I think that's what it is. I don't always rock with Katie, but there's still a warmth to her. I don't always rock with Lala, but there's a warmth to her. I don't know what it is with Ariana, but from day one, I just got this ick from her, this weirdness from her. Maybe it's just me, maybe it's not. I don't know. I just feel like, you know what it is too? I think it's also because, like, she came on the show and she was acting like she was better than the show, you know, but Scheana got her on. She came on the show bashing Kristen. Oh, you're crazy. Oh, you're this. The whole time, though, she was hooking up with Tom Sandoval, but acting like Kristen was crazy and lying about it. Then I get it, you know, she's going to stand by her man. She lied and said, you know, that Tom never hooked up with Miami Girl, knowing full and well that he did. And then they lied again, saying that they weren't in a committed relationship when he hooked up with Miami Girl once everything came out. Again, that was a lie, because the whole thing was he broke up with Kristen to be with Ariana, and they were this sort of like star-crossed lovers, and they were straight away in a full-on committed relationship. So she's still lying. And it's just like, I don't know what it is about her, but she just has this sort of, I don't know. I just don't get any warmth for her. Tay says, I saw Ariana show emotion last week. Right. But did she show emotion for anybody else, or did she show emotion for herself? Because anybody can be emotional about what they're going through. When it affects you, yeah, you're emotional because you're invested in it. But when has Ariana, other than Tom Sandoval, really shown that for anybody else? I don't know. There's just always been, I don't know. There's always been a disconnect with her persona. And again, it's not personal. I don't know her. I've never met her. It's not personal. It's just whatever persona she's putting on the show. It just seems a little disingenuous for me. And I do think it's very sort of ironic, if I'm using that word correctly, that the one girl on the show that she did actually seem to show warmth to and really bring in was Rachel. But again, I think the reason why she really did that with Rachel was because Tom was spending a lot of time with her, and Tom really liked her, and Tom big upped her, you know? Yeah. Tay says, I can name one thing when she lost her dad in Charlotte. Yeah, when she loses, her dad and her dog, she shows emotion. 100% we can. But, so I don't know. We'll see. But Ariana will be fine. I wonder what's going on with her and her boyfriend, Daniel. I think he makes his season debut this season. I think she said he won't be back next season. I wonder if they'll still be together. I wonder, and that's another thing. She started dating Daniel like 10 days out of Scandival. But again, people do have those relationships where it's like it's not a rebound, or they meet someone right after a breakup and then that's their person. I always got the feeling like Daniel kind of fell into something that he couldn't get out of. I'm not trying to be mean to Ariana. I'm really not. And I know it sounds bad, but I'm really not. But it just seems sort of like they hooked up at the wedding, and then it was like, how do I get out of this? Because if I don't continue seeing her, then the world is going to hate me. But if I do continue seeing her, I could probably up my rates and get a lot of Instagram and TikTok followers and be on a reality show. So if I'm Daniel, out of those two options, what am I picking? But I want to know the origin of when they met, because I heard two different things. First, I heard that they met at her friend's wedding in Mexico right after Scandival. But then someone said that Daniel was at Scheana's wedding. So I don't know. Maybe it's just like a friend of a friend. He's sort of like in the different groups. So who knows? But I want to know more of like when they met, when everything started, because I don't care what you say. If Ariana is still acting so, one second, you guys, I have to call. Okay, I'm back. If Ariana is still acting so hurt, and again, she has every right to be, grief comes in waves. What he did was wrong. Totally get that. But it's still a little weird that 10 days after the whole thing goes down, you are, cheated on. The entire world is erupting and everybody in the world is talking about it. It's the worst thing that's ever happened to you. Blah, 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 blah. But a week and a half later, you are now in a full-blown relationship with a man that you're still like, I don't know, like the math isn't mathing. Something isn't clicking. I don't know. It just seems weird to me. Maybe that's just because me, like, I wouldn't be able to be in a full blown relationship with someone 10 days out of being the Ariana in a scandal situation. I think I personally would need more time to heal, but that's just me. I don't know. And again, and who even knows what's the real situation between her and Daniel? Because I don't see chemistry between them. I don't. I see what I see with Ariana and Daniel is what I see with Kyle Richards and Morgan Wade, where I'm like, blink twice if you need us to come and get you. And also someone who is in a relationship for what they can get out of it, and they're not sure how to get out of it. But then again, this is just based on photos I've seen of them. I haven't heard him speak. I haven't seen them together, obviously. His episodes haven't aired yet. But just in the photos I've seen, that's the vibe I get. That's the vibe where I'm like, blink twice, Daniel. If you need us to come and get you, you got your TikTok followers, you upped your rates as a personal trainer. You want to be rescued now? That's just the vibe I get. Because also, again, because it's not just about her hopping into a relationship with him, you also want to think about what is the level of healthiness of the person who says, yeah, that's a great idea. Because it takes two to tango, right? So it's not just her jumping in a relationship with him 10 days out. It's him saying, yeah, it's a great idea to jump into a serious relationship with a woman who 10 days ago thought she was going to marry and have children with because, you know, she had the eggs and she had her eggs frozen, and then Tom was supposed to fertilize them to make embryos, which are children, babies, you know, little goobers, who 10 days ago thought that she was going to fertilize her eggs with this man she was going to spend the rest of her life with. So what's going on with him too? Because it takes two to tango. So as much as she, you would think, would maybe need some more time to heal and process, not that you have to put your life on hold, but you do want to take a beat and be like, well, wait a minute, this is a lot. This is a loss. This is a crisis. This is a trauma. Maybe I need to take a beat and process this so that I can continue my life in the healthiest way possible. On the flip side of that, what person is like, yeah, you seem like a healthy partner, baby, let's go. Unless he's not in it for that. Because again, you can be in different places in your life. We're not always looking for a healthy person to start a life with. Sometimes we just want to have a little bit of fun. You know, sometimes we just want to waste some time. Sometimes you just, well, I don't know, who knows? You know, there's a lot of relationships like that. On again, off again, you know, not claiming, whatever the case is. There's a lot of relationships. There's also a lot of opportunist relationships where it's like you have a platform, you're in the public eye. I have a business. We see that happen a lot too. You know, just because Daniel seems like this nice guy, he might be nice, but doesn't mean he's stupid. If it's a come up, it's a come up. So, because you have to also think about what are his motives. Because me, I would not jump into a serious relationship. Let's take all the fame out of it. I wouldn't jump into a serious relationship with a man who 10 days prior to meeting me thought that he was going to fertilize eggs and embryos with the woman that he has been with for the last 10 years in living in a house that they bought together. That 10 days before meeting me, he thought that he was going to have children with this woman that he's been with for a decade, and they have a house and dogs with. I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, that's a situation. Sign me up. That sounds like a good guy for me to be with now. I would be like, it depends on where I'm at in life. If I'm like, hey, want to have some fun? Take your mind off things. Hey, sure. Why not? Get your rocks where you get them off. But I wouldn't be like, yeah, you seem like a candidate for someone who I want to start building my life with. That's just me though. But you never know. You never know. So that's kind of where I feel with Ariana. But Ariana will be fine. She's going to be as born cool and unbothered and mean and pretentious and icy as she wants to be. And I can still have compassion for her for what she went through, because regardless if I think that her personality leaves a lot to be asked for, I do think that what happened to her was wrong. And I do have compassion for that. Bad relationship or not, nobody deserves to be lied to and cheated on and played for a fool on a private level, let alone a public level. So I do have a lot of compassion for her with that. I really do, because that sucks. And regardless of her not being a girl's girl, nobody deserves that. Okay, Lala. Lala, like I said before, I think Lala is literally just trying to save the show and keep her bag and keep her 15 minutes. I think that she will probably join the Valley next season. I do think the Valley will be renewed, and I do think Lala will join it. Whether or not Vanderpump Rules is canceled, I'm not sure, but I think Lala will want to join it. She just bought a new house. I think it's like a $3.1 million house in the Valley. So there's that. Where is Lala getting all this money from? And also, where is Tom Sandoval getting all of his money from too? Because if you think about it, Lala bought a house in Palm Springs a couple years ago, right? I think 2 years ago at this point. Bought a house in Palm Springs. That's a cute coin. Now she bought a $3.1 million house in the Valley. That's a cute coin. Where's all this money coming from? I know Bravo's checks aren't that big. And is it the Send It to Daryl merch? Is it the Give Them Lala beauty? Is it Randall's fraudulent, allegedly, money that maybe he's giving her? Because people who cry broke but buy 3.1 million mansions, I always kind of look at you kind of sideways. Are you just saying you're broke? And are you just saying Randall doesn't have any money because of his legal issues? I don't know. I'm just saying, like, and again, I'm not trying to count anybody's coins or money, even though it kind of sounds like that. But since they put it in the public, they put it in the public foray, we can comment on it because it's, public fodder. But I just kind of feel like, where is all this money coming from? Because that's easily 5 to 6 million in the last 1 to 2 years. However much her home was in Palm Springs, plus a $3.1 million home in the Valley, that's a lot of coin. So I don't know where it's all coming from. I mean, good honor, but hey, let it roll in. And then also, where does Tom Sandoval get all his money from? Because think about it. He is sending Scheana thousands and thousands, because I guess he sent her like a cute coin in the pandemic. He gave the 10 to 12K for James's engagement party. He bought the sword that was signed by like some actor for Jax. He's always like throwing like parties and events and costumes and themes. And then he's clearly bankrolling Tom Sandoval and the most extras. Then he has the house with Ariana. Then he has the Schwartz and Sandy's. I know he got like a $250K loan from his mom, but I thought that went to the restaurant. Like, that's also a lot of money. Like, where are they getting all of this money from? I mean, maybe the endorsements are really good, but they're spending a lot of money. And then Tom Schwartz is always crying broke. Like, I don't know. Again, I'm not trying to count anybody's bag because I don't want any bad financial karma coming to me. I want to keep it nice and clear and flowy. But it is interesting to think about, because a lot of them cry broke, but yet they're spending big money. So who knows? Also, Ariana just bought her house for $1.6 million. which is cute, good on her, so she can like move and have her peace and have her space. And again, when it comes to the house, I said it before, but I'll say it again. I agree with Ariana on that. I wouldn't move not nan toe out of that house until I was good and ready and I had everything that was mine. I wouldn't move nan toe out that house. Tom Sandoval could go leave. If he's so upset with her staying, he can leave. And him being like, oh, Ariana, she's just doing this to be petty. She said before that she would, I could buy her out and she would leave and all this stuff. And what? Like, shout out to Miss Wendy Williams. I'm a woman. I'm allowed to change my mind. I would double down if I was Ariana too, because you're not gonna be out here playing in my face, cheating on me, making me look like a fool, and then put me out when my name is on this house and I put my money in this house. Hell no, absolutely not. Not today. So good for her. I would have stayed too until I was good and ready to go. And I'm not gonna, because why should she put herself out to make him feel comfortable? On that point, I rock with Ariana all day long because he's the one who messed up. If he is the one who is so up in arms, he can leave. He can get an Airbnb. He could find a new house. He can go. Why does he get to be the one that gets to be comfortable and she has to be the one that has to be put out? On that front, I would double down with Ariana every single day on that one. Every single day. Yeah. So with Lala, I feel like she's just trying to keep the show going. I think she's going to the Valley next season. So that'll be interesting. She's pregnant. I'm happy for her. Sending lots of love to her and her baby girl on the way. It's very cool. She's definitely doing a sponsored campaign with Cryo Baby. That's why every single episode, it's all about the sperm donor, and the guy is doing basically like a TED talk about sperm and all that stuff. I'm not mad at it, Lala. Get your coin. If you can get maybe that's how she bought that $3.6 million mansion. Maybe it's with that Cryo Baby money. Who knows? But get your coin, girl, and congratulations. And that's a good storyline for her, because that's another thing about Vanderpump Rules. It's all dry. Like, what do these people really have going on that we are invested in? Like Lala having a sperm donor, that's cute, that's sweet, love to see it, but whatever. Katie all of a sudden pretending to be a lesbian, miss me with this fake storyline. Let's talk about Katie. Justice for Katie. I just feel like Katie gets a bad rap all the way around. Like, Katie can never win. Katie can never win. Poor Katie. She now has to pretend to be a lesbian on the show, or bisexual rather, and competing with Tom Schwartz for this weird young girl, Tori. I don't know who made that executive decision. It's weird. It's really weird. I think it's a lie. I think it's fake. I think it's all for storyline. Anytime you have James in the confessional giving like the plot points, that's a producer storyline. James is like, oh my gosh, you guys, well, this is what's going on. So Katie and Tom, who were married, who are now divorced, oh my gosh, now they're hooking up with the same girl. What? And he did that whole confessional thing. I'm like, yeah, that's a story the producers made or somebody made. But I don't care about that. Being bisexual, I'm tired of Bravo exploiting sexuality for shocks and value. And it's only the women's sexuality that they usually really exploit. Like, I don't know. I just don't see it. I don't see it. I do feel bad for Katie. I do think she's unhappy, but in the sense of like transition and mourning and grieving, she had just like, and that's another thing where I think Katie privately, not publicly, because she's scared to publicly say anything against Ariana, but privately, and along with Lala and Stassi as well, even Scheana, when those type of girls, those types of women, the difficult women, the bitchy women, the beautiful woman, the woman who, whatever you want to be, whatever attributes that you would give a Lala or a Stassi or a Katie, even a Scheana, not so much, but like it's a little different for Scheana, but Scheana we can add into. Any of those types of attributes for women, when men cheat on them, the narrative is they deserved it. Who cares? You had it coming. All of that, when they go through all of these hard things. And I think that's a big reason why it's really hard for them to rally around Ariana, because when a woman like Ariana, who I don't see her this way, but I think a majority of people see her as sort of like long suffering with Sandoval, and she doesn't really ruffle feathers, and she doesn't really have a personality of her own. And I see her that way. She doesn't really have a personality. She doesn't really rock the boat. She's kind of cool girl who kind of like goes with the flow. When something happens to her, then all of a sudden she becomes this sort of martyr for everybody who's ever been wronged in the world. And she's like this perfect victim for people. And she gets all this sympathy and she gets all this grace, but nobody had that for Katie when Katie got an actual divorce. And Katie was actually cheated on when she was a whole wife. And I get people don't want to get married, but they're still in serious relationships, 100%. But if we're being honest, in our society, there is a difference between being in a long-term relationships versus being a married husband and wife. It is a difference. Point blank, period. I'm not saying one is better than the other one, but they are different. And nobody really had that much love for Katie when Tom Schwartz was cheating on her while they were married. In fact, when it was, and I get that they were separated, but they were still legally married. In fact, when Tom Schwartz was hooking up with Rachel, they literally cheered him on while Katie was there. So Katie is sitting there. Her still legally married husband, who she's going to get divorced from, separated, is making out with Rachel in Mexico at Scheana's wedding, and everyone is cheering him on. But you know what I mean? Like, they didn't give an F about Katie. Whether or not you like her or not, that's horrible. And that's pretty much how Katie has been treated this entire time. She had to literally move out of her house, sell her house, move into an apartment, and start over as a divorced woman. And people still give her so much crap and they have no grace for her. But yet Ariana, when Tom is hooking up with Rachel, now it's like the biggest thing in the world. And oh my gosh, and I can't believe it. Like, what? They weren't even married. Long-term relationship, I get it, but they weren't married. It's crazy. And people act like Tom Schwartz didn't do anything to Katie. Where was the uproar when Tom Schwartz was cheating on Katie when they were married? People would laugh about it. They'd be like, oh, Tom was just like wasted. They would laugh about it. How would you feel if you are married to a man? And I get it. She should have left him. I totally get that. But let's just say you are married to a man who repeatedly cheats on you and your friend group finds it funny. Your friend groups literally laugh and have jokes about the fact that your husband gets drunk and cheats on you. But you're the problem when you get mad. Oh, you're so angry, Katie. You're tequila, Katie. You're bitter, Katie. You're miserable, Katie. Well, yeah, you think? In the same way Katie should have left, Ariana should have left. You know? Exactly, Tay-Tay. When Schwartz threw a drink on Katie. Exactly, SJ. Hey, SJ says they said Katie deserved it. Exactly. Same thing happened with Lala. You know, but because Lala is beautiful, because Lala was with Randall and they had this image of him being this powerful producer in Hollywood and all this money and blah, 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 blah. And yeah, she shouldn't have been with him because he was in a relationship. I totally get that. But Ariana was also messing with Tom when he was in a relationship. But because Tom is Tom Sandoval, and sure, he's spending this money here and there, but Tom doesn't really have big money like that. Ariana's cute, but Lala's beautiful. And Lala has she has an edge, she has an attitude, she's confident, she's whatever, she's brassy, she's this, she's that. She's intimidating to a lot of people, particularly women. We're going to keep it 100 here. Beautiful women who are confident, who's not afraid to say, my man has money, this, that, and the third. That's very intimidating. That's very off-putting. So when something bad happens to this person who is also a human being, people say she deserved it, she had it coming. But when a person like Ariana, who quite frankly did the same exact thing Lala did, except for with a man who had less money, because I truly believe that if Ariana was with a man like a Randall, who had influence and power and money, and she was being spoiled with Range Rovers and mansions and shopping sprees and all that stuff, if the same exact thing happened, I truly believe she would not be getting this martyr, perfect victim, godlike treatment. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If Tom Sandoval was someone like a Randall, they would treat her the way they treat Lala. You deserved it. You were just effing him for money. You're just a gold digger. You're a home wrecker. What did you think was going to happen? They would have treated her the same way, because in our society, when a woman is beautiful, confident, who she is, and she's with a man who has status and money and power and clout, unfortunately, there is this sick thing in us as humans. Everybody has this part of us that gets pleasure in watching somebody like that being taken down a peg or two. Who did she think she was? She got what she got. She deserved it. You know what I mean? When you see somebody like that and you see them taken down a peg or two, our human ego gets a little satisfied. We get a little kick. We get a little, it feels like, yeah, who did she think she was? Blah, 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 blah. Like, you look at even Tom Sandoval, he seethed with jealousy with Lala. He literally seethed jealousy with her because she was dating Randall. And she's beautiful, and she was getting money, and she was getting Range Rovers and cars and shopping and all that. He was so jealous of her. But Tom Sandoval is always jealous of women. He was jealous of Stassi. He was jealous of Lisa Vanderpump. He's a jealous man who is jealous of women all of the time. But in our society, we get a little bit of satisfaction out of people being knocked down a bit. But when you get somebody like an Ariana and a Tom, someone that's more easily identifiable with, you see more of yourself in that person, then it's easier to become enmeshed in what they're going through. And you almost get, you're almost playing out your own trauma through them. Like, you're almost getting your own vindication through them, because it's easier to identify with a person like Ariana than it is with a person like Lala. For like the everyday person. Because I promise you, if Sandoval was a Randall, Ariana would not be on Broadway. She would not be having the Lifetime movies. She would not be getting all of the brand deals. She wouldn't be blowing up the way she's blowing up. She wouldn't be the face of this and the DSW shoes, because it didn't happen for Stassi. It didn't happen for Kristen. It didn't happen for Lala. And the same thing happened to all of those women. They all were cheated on and treated horribly by the men that they were with. All of it. But the one woman who got shot up to stardom was the woman that people identified with the most. So that's what I feel about that. But I want to know what you guys think. What do you think about the state of Vanderpump Rules? Is it a wrap? Is it over? You know, is it time to sort of throw in the towel and let it go? Or do you think, no, maybe we do a reboot, maybe we get some fresh people in? I don't know. I think it's time to maybe just like, let's just put it to bed. I think it's okay to let some things go. I think it had a great run. I think this should be the last season. And I think that the people should just go and do other projects and bigger and better things. I don't think we need a Vanderpump Rules reboot. Maybe we just need like a new show. Everything doesn't need to be rebooted. It's okay to just let shows go and just come out with new shows. Trust me, there are millions of people in this world that would make great talent. So let's get some fresh people. So let me know what you guys think. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So we were supposed to do the Valley tonight too, but I've been talking for 2 hours. So I'm going to drop the link in case anybody wants to come up and share. But if not, I'm going to go through your candy cane questions and comments, and then we can do the Valley tomorrow since we did 2 hours of Pump Rules. Hey, Adam. Hey, Adam. Hey, Tay-Tay. What is up? Oh, hey, you guys. Hey, Barbara. Adam says, Lala, Kent is the MVP. Whoop, whoop. Natasky says, Adam, stop. None of these people are MVP. The show has expired. I agree. Barbara says, Lala is going to be on the Valley. Yep. Adam says, not going back to English school. No, I was. That article was like tough to read. I was like, what? Who is making these sentences? Natasha says, and how do Lala get money for over 5 million houses? That's what I'm saying too. Like, where is all this money coming from? I don't care what you say. You did not sell enough Send It to Daryl t-shirts for all of these houses and stuff. Who's going back to English school? The author of the article. Adams is author of the article. Dusty says, yeah, same. That's my life savings in that house. Tay-Tay says, Team Ariana too. Miss T says, hello, Candy. Hey, Miss T. Thank you for holding me down. Adam says, hey, Miss T. Dusty says, and it comes across fake. Yep. Tasky says, I don't know if it's the same your way, but in London, people can borrow 5.5 your salary as a mortgage. Miss T's kissing Adam. Yay. Hi, Gambit Girl Psychic says, hiya. Hi, sweetheart. That says, yeah, but how does she know she can pay that back? Too late. It's fake still. Miss T says, this season is awful. Adam says, that's a good question. Tay-Tay says, I love Allie. Oh, you love Allie. What do you love about Allie? She's like an AI bot to me. Hey, Adam, you want to share?
Hey, Candy. What can I say? I predicted the future. We went live today.
Adam Boss Man. I was in my calendar. Yeah. But we'll have to do the Valley tomorrow because I spent so much time on VPR.
I mean, I'm more intrigued to hear
Tay-Tay.
your Tay-Tay. Your take on Vanderpump Villa. I've only watched the first episode. I need to watch all 5, and I think doing it as you said, either in a 3 or 5. Oh my god! When you said that Ali is like, if you could imagine like Siri as a person,
it would be her.
She could be a contender. I mean, Apple,
right?
I mean, and that's not even being shady. You know, Apple could make her a billionaire, but you know, maybe she does not cut up for that. But I don't know. I've got a tough question for you.
Okay.
Okay, my tough question for you is if you had to pick one girl on the cast and one guy on the cast that isn't pulling their weight, who would you fire? And if one girl, one guy, just off the show now.
Ooh, I would fire. The girl I would fire would probably be, honestly, Ariana. Because what is she bringing to the show?
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing. Like even with Scandival, she's wah. Like it's not giving. And like I don't know. I'd fire Ariana. The guy I would fire would probably be either Sandoval or Schwartz.
For
Let's
me,
go with
it would probably
Sandoval.
as much as I don't like Sandoval, I would pick Schwartz. Just because he's brought this Joe person on, and kind of like it seems a bit wacko, and I don't know. I mean, and yeah, I would either say Ariana or Katie. I mean, but both kind of this whole sandwich shop thing. I think, as you said in the previous live stream, with the whole sandwich shop, not being open and all these delays. I mean, like we could have predicted that, and I didn't actually think it was going to come into fruition because, as you kind of said with Ariana, is the focus is kind of me, I. There kind of was no we or us kind of her.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was kind of the red flag. If you're going to kind of go into business with someone, the us element has to kind of be key, and Ariana kind of didn't put that into perspective.
Agreed. Hey, Tay. Hey, SJ. Hey, Natasha.
What's up, Candy?
Hi, everybody. Tay, you want to sound off, then SJ, and then Natasha.
So about the Allie comment, like to me, like Allie is like Allie is. I think that she is the bunker of the group. I think she is real, but I don't see something grimy with Allie yet. So also, I think Ariana wants to create boundaries. She wants to grow. And
yep.
So that's why I was trying to say, like, when you said that you never saw Ariana like sympathize with the women, like I gave you some examples.
Yep.
About she sympathized with the ladies, and I agree with you that Tom should get out.
Yep.
Get a house. I'm glad that Ariana has her place.
Me
I'm
too.
glad that she's away from Scandival. Oh yeah, speaking of him, like I'm glad James ate up Sandoval.
He did.
Like, he ran him up and down. Like Sandoval continues to take no accountability. Like you and Rachel. Like Rachel also continues to take no accountability. Joe continues to take no accountability. Yeah, and Lala, I believe she is jealous of Ariana's success.
Ooh la la.
Yeah. And Scheana, like I hope she's starting to realize that Sandoval is just a miserable person.
I agree.
Like, Sandoval's a miserable person. Like I think it's better for Scheana to be friends with Ariana than with Sandoval. And James, I like him.
Yeah, me
cool.
too.
He's cool. Like again, I felt bad for James. James is going to marry Rachel. What happened, and then Schwartz, like F Schwartz, like Schwartz. Joe, you got him. How you lost him?
That's a good point.
Yeah, And also, did you see Rachel's post of how like she used the clips from the show and her podcast? Like, I don't believe Rachel at all. Like, she needs to be quiet. And did you also listen to Disrespectfully podcast by Katie and Dana?
Oh, I gotta catch it.
When they responded to Rachel's nonsense.
I haven't, but I gotta catch it. That's a good recommendation. Thank you, Tay Tay.
Oh yeah, and I'm also watching Vanderpump Villa. I watch
Ooh,
it
what do you
via
think?
VPN.
Me too.
On
Oh
Disney,
no, I watch on
Disney
Hulu. Yeah.
Like I don't have Hulu, so I use a VPN to get it, and it's very good. Marciano, you can miss me with him. Eric, like there's a DV going on.
Yup.
I don't like him. Hannah's a lot. The rest, I like them. So.
Me too. Me too. I think it's really good. We'll have a good discussion when we do it. It's refreshing. It's different than what I thought it was going to be, and in a good way. In a good way. I think it's going to be a really good discussion when we talk about everything. So yeah, and those were such good insights, Tay Tay. Yeah. And thank you for being a channel member. I really appreciate you.
Always. I support you.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Tay Tay. Okay, SJ, you ready to sound off?
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, all I have to say is move over Jax, move over Sandoval. James is the number one guy in the group.
Yes.
He was the clear winner of the episode last night, and he has grown on me so much over these past couple of seasons. Because when he first came on, I was kind of like, but now I like him a lot.
Me too. He's like matured.
Yes. I don't think that Allie, like you said, is into him as much as he is into her. I think that she's still really young, and I think she kind of just wants to find her way, maybe, and he was a ticket onto the show for her to get some type of notoriety.
Yep.
And I feel bad for James if that is the case, because I think that he really does like and care about her. And I just thought it was hilarious last night that every time they were talking about Rachel on the podcast, they never said Bethany's name once. They kept saying the podcast.
Yeah, they were giving her they were paying her dust.
Even in the after show, they just kept saying the podcast. And that was hilarious to me.
The podcast.
I'm glad that Ariana is finally moving out. I never understood why everybody kept saying that she had to move out, and not once did they ever say that he had to move out. It was both of their houses.
Exactly.
So I never understood that. I never got that. It just really irritated me every time somebody was saying that she had to move out, because it's not fair. But I'm glad she's moving out, and it was hilarious to see that Sandoval was still trying to manipulate her with the whole, well, I offered her too little or whatever he said, and he's trying to get Schwartz to move in with him for $6,000 a month and then take a loan out. Like, I'm glad Schwartz told him no.
Finally.
Yeah. He finally stood up to him, because I'm like, this dude is an idiot.
Yeah.
But I think that the show has just run its course. It's not what it started. None of them work in the bars anymore. They've all outgrown it. Tom and Tom are 40 plus years old, acting like they're still 20.
Yeah.
It's time to move on. It's over.
Yeah.
But that was basically it.
No, I agree. And it's sad because the only reason why I think Short said no to Sandoval was because he's out of his relationship with Katie, and so now he actually wants to like live his life. Whereas I think that if he was still with Katie, he would do anything Sandoval wanted just because he was trying to get away from Katie.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, like it's like all of a sudden he has a backbone. It's like, wait, why? Yeah. I agree. Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah, I'm so glad that he finally stood up to him. And I remember last season when they were cheering at Scheana's wedding for him and Rachel, all the while Rachel was hooking up with Sandoval. It's so disgusting. It was so gross. But I'll let you take some other callers and everything. I love your channel. I support you.
I appreciate
even when you like review shows that I don't watch, I'll still listen just to give you, support.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I really do.
No problem. Have a good night. Bye, everybody.
You too. Bye, sweetheart. Hey, Tasha, you want to go, sweetie?
Oh, hi.
Hi, girl. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, girl. Hey, Adam Lulu.
Hey.
I mean, welcome to Adam's channel.
I know. Welcome to the Andy Games.
The Andy Games. I'm done.
Oh, I was so done with that. I'm Adam's mod.
That was like really good comedic timing too. Okay, so sorry.
We'll let you breathe. Don't worry.
Okay. I don't know. I just like Lala is rubbing me the wrong way.
Okay, sound off.
And
girl.
I've always I was like a major defender of her last season, so I just want that to be on the record. However, I am just seeing some stuff that I don't like, and it's very clear that although she is right, they didn't stick up for her, and she was their attack dog. But besides that, you also pretended like you were rallying hard just to get a bag. And once that bag dried up, then all of a sudden you're claiming this new revelation. And I don't like that.
But to that, okay. But do you think it's sort of like similar with Katie, where I feel like Lala was going so hard against Sandoval and seemingly like defending Ariana, not so much because of the Ariana piece, but because of her past with him. You know, like I feel like she was like, you would always come at me and you wanted me to like be real and you called me a hypocrite and you talked about my life and saying I was doing it, but you were doing this the whole time and you've always come at me. And then this season, even though it's like super lackluster, we did at least get resolution between Lala and Sandoval. Like they were having like productive conversations. He did take accountability to the extent that he's capable of. And they did seem to get to like a better place. So I kind of feel like that's more of why she's softened to him, because she was going at him so hard because of all of the stuff that he has done to her. But she was able to get to at least a pace of like being cordial and peace with him. And so now she's sort of like, I'm not going to continue to ride against him just for Ariana, who's never really rode for me.
Right, but she made all that money under the guise that she was rallying for Ariana. And now that bag has dried up, and now all of a sudden now she's coming clean. And she's right what she's saying, but it's just a very convenient timing for me.
I agree with you too, though, because I agree with Lala going with her how she feels, but there is this sort of sense of like hard. There's a bitterness to it. There's something in it that is kind of there's a fly in the milk. Because I do agree with Lala 90% of what she's saying against Ariana, except for the home stuff. But I agree with you too, because there is a part of it that seems a little bitter, there's something in it that's mucking it up. Yeah.
Like it's not like black and white. There are some sides, like what you were just saying is true, but it doesn't mean that what I'm saying is not true either. Like I feel like there's just layered. It's not like as clear cut.
It's an interesting one.
Yeah.
I went there, Adam, Mister. She's the #1 girl in the group.
I mean, to me, after Lisa Vanderpump, she is the closest thing to the MVP with James. You know, excluding Lisa, James and Lala. If James and Lala quit tomorrow, let's just say after there would be no show.
But you can't group. I don't know. I don't really think you need to group them together anymore. James is the number one guy. Like,
yeah,
he
James
is killing it.
I mean,
his one-liners, his revelations, his like ability
I mean, I
to
kind
like
of
call
thank him
everyone
in a
out.
way. I kind of thank him in a way because he was one of the very few people who could convey British humor to an American audience without
You
offending
and the
people.
British humor.
See, I don't really think that's British humor. I just think that's
But no,
humor, boo-boo. I don't think you need to take that
he-
much credit.
I mean, he was one of the. I mean, Lisa Vanderpump. I mean, Kyle will cry every 5 seconds on Beverly Hills over British humor. So did that flake, Eileen Davidson. But I'm getting some.
I think there's an echo.
Oops, sorry.
It's okay.
We
still love you.
Yes, obviously.
Fox.
But with the house situation, I understand what Lala was saying, but from a monetary standpoint, you know, even if they both either one of them, if it was him or her that moved out and was trying to do what the person, I was just kind of looking at it from a monetary standpoint, like hypothetically, Candy, if you and you were in their position, and let's just say you had you shared with a significant other a $5 million home. If so and so wanted to buy you out and things get messy, I don't know if you have something equivalent to we have this thing over here called stamp duty, which is pretty much when you buy a home, you have to pay 10% of its value to the government, and kind of that home that they purchased together like went up by something like $800,000 in the time that they were in it, and you know he will be getting the upper echelon from the deal. Like he may be trying to like say, "Oh, I'm going to give her top dollar value," but the other thing your way, which I find crazy, is property in a real estate point of view is your property tax things is like on cloud 9. Like you have to pay something like 1% of your house every single year to the state or something. Like that's
our taxes are wild. Don't worry.
Because in
and
the
to
same
think we started our country over taxes, and look at us now.
because people in London who like there are people in London who own like houses of multiple millions, and they're only paying like the equivalent of $7,000 a year in taxes to the council. Like
that's crazy.
Like you know, and but going back to the show. Sorry, I kind of I kind of went like pages what right. With this Valley show, I haven't given it the space of air. But
Adam, you kill me.
Are the people on this show like clones of Jax and Kristen, or are they individual?
Have you watched it?
Vanderpump Villa, you mean?
No, for Valley, are they clones of Jax?
Oh, no. All the they're very different. No, each couple is very unique.
They have their own dynamics.
They have their own dynamics. They did a good job of casting very specific couple dynamic like personas or archetypes. Like it's all in there. So they did get definitely not clones of Jax and Kristen now, which is good. And I actually think the show would have been better because I actually like the premise of the show and I like the couples, but I think what's mudding it up a little bit for me is I wish they didn't bring in Kristen and Jax. I think the show would have been better if they cast 2 different couples other than Jax and Brittany and Kristen and Luke. Because they brought in too much history from everything else, and now it's taking away from what I think the show could have been. Yeah, because now it's all about Kristen and racism and crazy Kristen Doty and all. It's just like,
okay, tough question.
Yeah.
Do you believe that biggest narcissist alive, aka Stacy Schroeder,
okay,
actually got offered a contract to join the show, but it wasn't this lucrative contract that she's used to from Vanderpump Rules, or that is just a bunch of BS and she's just saving her character? She's the only OG that got kicked off that isn't on the show.
I think they asked her to join the show, but she said no because she wants to do a different reality show around her and her family and her friends.
The star, yeah.
Yeah, I think she's waiting for a different offer. I think she wants to be back on reality, but I don't think she wanted to do it with Jax and Kristen.
What would she have to do to get her on your future reality show, Candy?
On my future reality show?
What?
We'll do. Okay, yes, I'm executive producing a reality show.
Yes.
What would it take for me to cast Stassi on it?
Yes.
Oh, see, it's tough with Stassi. I have a very bittersweet relationship with her because myself, my personality, I love Stassi. Like I am down for her. I love her. I love her content, everything. But then also the big part of me cannot let go of the racism that she did against Faith and then the calling herself the N-word chic, not my N-word, but the other N-word chic.
The tiny mustache one.
Yeah, that one, chic, and like her comments and never really taking accountability for what she did to Faith. So I personally, as like an actual me myself, am very conflicted in how I feel about Stassi because I'm basic like she is. And like, I love her content. I think she's really funny and everything she's got going on. And I would love to support it. But because she hasn't been able to truly take accountability for what she did to Faith, because I am a Black woman and I just think what she did was so disgusting. And not that people can't make mistakes and be ignorant, but the fact that I haven't seen her take true accountability for what she did, that's the bit that gets me. Like, I don't hold it against Kristen because Kristen, to me, she didn't have a pattern of that type of behavior when Stassi did have a pattern of it, not to that degree, but she had a pattern of that type of behavior. But to me, Kristen truly understood that what she did was wrong and she took accountability for it. And to me, I think Kristen truly is remorseful and understands what she did was wrong and what she did was racist. Whereas I still think Stassi thinks this happened to her rather than this is something that she did. So because of that, she could never be on the show I'm executive producing. But I would bring on someone like a Stassi because I actually really do like her personality. I like her aesthetic and I like her content. So that was a lot, but that's my personal feeling on Stassi. I know. I was like, you just opened a can of worms.
But I feel like, can we talk about Vanderpump though? Because I feel bad for Jason. I mean, not Jason.
Jason, who's Jason?
Sorry.
That's okay.
You guys had me talking about a show that we're not doing. I meant James.
Oh, James. Okay.
I feel bad for him. I feel like Allie is using him.
Yeah.
And I'm annoyed by it. Like, I feel
You're
like...
mad? You're big mad?
No, I feel like a big sister.
Hey, Miss T. Thank you for being my mod. I appreciate you, sweetheart. Mwah.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm his big sister in my head. And now I'm mad. Because I really feel like I'm like, Allie, girl, you knew that this is what he wanted. Like, he is a hopeless romantic. He has you living in this house. This isn't the first time he's talked about longing for wanting kids and family. And you've just been like nodding and smiling and trying to like go along with it just to keep him on the leash. And it's getting on my nerves.
I agree.
And it's wrong. And your stupid song that you have is so cheesy and so annoying also.
Oh, do you like have it on like
Allie song?
I saw it on a clip on Instagram. I'm like, is this a joke?
It
seemed like a joke.
So bad. It's like she's like, is it the one where I've only seen it on TikTok, but she's like at a little like keyboard and she's like singing to like 2000s or 2010 like
No,
song.
she has a new video now.
With Scheana.
She has a video of it, and that one, and it's like really bad. She's like lounging on a pool chair,
is she a worse singer than Kim G?
You know what it reminds me of? It's all on the same caliber, only like maybe better cameras because it's like modern. But as it's Friday, like it's literally
Black. Oh my God.
that caliber. I'm not joking. It's like
wow.
It's very, very bad. And I only heard like 5 seconds of it. And I was like, wow.
Wait,
I thought it was like an SNL skit at first. Like it was that bad.
Would you rather be paid I don't know, $200 to go and watch her perform or watch Scheana and Erica?
Wait, say that again. I got distracted.
If you had the three options to be paid $200 to watch one of these three women perform, and your choices are...
What three women? You said Allie, Scheana, or who else?
Erica. From Beverly.
I'd watch Scheana.
Honestly, maybe Erica.
Yeah. For me,
I couldn't do Scheana. I can't. Like, Scheana...
Kimberly said that video was cringe. Hey, Kimberly.
Hey, Kimberly.
Hey,
I started laughing because I saw
Giovanna.
someone wrote,
hey,
Dan
Jen.
is getting held hostage.
Blink twice, Dan. Blink twice.
Dan, are you okay?
Dan, are you okay? Do you guys want to talk about the Valley?
No, I want to just hear your insight a bit.
Wait, you guys, someone else said that they heard on the after show that Lala was talking about going on the Valley. And she's talking about
she
like
definitely is.
I think that's why she purchased the home, because I think she did get the gig. There's no way that she would have purchased if she didn't know for a fact that she was going to have that income on its way.
Well, unlike the rest of the people, her house is actually like on the border of Beverly Hills. It's actually like in a decent... It's like right adjacent to...
And you know who said it? Shout out to Candy Cane. Let me see if I can find it. I think it was Barbara. Shout out to Candy Cane Barbara. She brought up that Lala family has money.
You're right. I meant to say
I
that
forgot that. So maybe her mom...
clip.
And since her mother and her brother are living with her, I wouldn't be surprised if they're helping financially.
I remember I saw a clip and someone like made this collab and they were talking about, and it was actually to argue against Lala saying, why don't you move out? And then it's clips when she first joined the cast and she's like, I have money. I come from money. My parents pay for all my rent. And she was always bragging about that. So it's like, it was never like a thing where she like didn't understand. So like it was kind of like whoever made this compilation was to argue that she doesn't understand the idea of putting your whole savings, your life's work, and making that big of a purchase and not wanting to walk away from it that easily, because this girl has never really,
had to work.
I mean, granted, maybe she's doing it more now, but we don't really know because like her dad passed away. So, like, he probably left all that money to his mom, I assume.
How many
years?
The
mom is living with her, so it's like she probably can help
and
too.
the brother.
So it's like, right, yeah. So it's like, we don't know. But, I mean, she does work. You see her on Amazon every day. She's on the show. I'm not knocking her hustle, like, for sure. But, like, yeah.
how many years was she with McDonald's poster child's house?
With
What?
Randall?
Yes.
Big Ed's evil cousin.
At
3 years?
least
She
I was
claimed
gonna say
6.
5.
She
Oh.
claimed 6. I
6?
remember. Yeah, which seemed a bit
Ah.
long, but like definitely 5 for sure.
Because what season was it when all of them got houses? Because I'm pretty sure she was with that in
That
that
was season 8.
house
It was
before.
7 or 8.
7 or 8.
I think it must have been 7. It must have been like the very end of 7 because I'm pretty sure we saw at least a whole season of them in there. Because
Yeah,
At one
you're
point,
right.
every single one of them got a house.
It probably is more
Stassi,
7 because I think after season 5, they all got big pay bumps.
yeah, because
once you hit that season 5, and they were all OGs. Remember after season 5, everybody get that big pay jump, and then everybody bought houses that looked exactly alike.
yes,
Stassi got the house. Kristen got a house. Scheana,
do you
Tom,
guys
and
like that
Katie.
architecture?
What?
Do you like that farmhouse LA
I do.
architecture style?
It's fine.
I wouldn't call that farmhouse though.
Well, they dubbed it on the show as Valley
I think
Village.
maybe that's farmhouse for LA. I don't know, but not where I'm from.
Because I don't know, but architecture wise, like my favorite architecture is French or Victorian, but the architecture is quite interesting.
But remember, we looked at it and it was like your Victorian and our Victorian are different. Like our Victorian homes are like they have like pointed kind of roofs and they have like the big porches. And your Victorian homes are not what we consider Victorian homes. It's different here.
I mean, a Victorian house usually.
Like I don't know if you ever heard of like when back in the day, me and my family used to vacation in Cape May, and New Jersey, Cape May, New Jersey, and they are known for their Victorian homes, and they're like all different colors, and they have those big porches, and like yeah, like it's kind of like a thing. But then when I saw like in British Victorian homes, I'm like, wait, that's a Victorian home. Like I don't know, it's weird. It's not the same for some reason. I don't know how that could be, but like yeah. Because yeah, I mean, like, it's obviously after Queen Victoria, but like, I don't know why that's different.
Like a Victorian house, pretty much is anything that was, as you
during
said,
that time.
Victoria.
Yeah,
you know, but typically any house built before 1910, typically anything before then kind of is that because like you have Edwardian and Victorian, but I digress. What was I gonna ask? Wait, so Natasha, are you watching Vanderpump Villa as well?
No, I don't have Hulu. Like, I'm just like so over like buying 7,000 apps. I'm like, I might as well get cable at this point. This is annoying. Like, what is this? But I heard it's good. Maybe I'll like buy a season later. Like if you know what I mean, like one of those options. I don't know. But
I mean, I'm kind of, I don't know, because everything Hulu is kind of.
Wait until the season's over and then do like a free month subscription and binge it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should do that.
Plus, I love a binge sesh rather than a weekly.
Too. Yeah.
Oh my god, your voice.
What?
You're like metal.
I was playing with my hair.
Metal, yeah. And I only noticed it because me and my friends used to pretend talk like that, like because we thought it was funny. And you did the voice. I was like, oh my god, Kenny's doing the voice. Metal.
If you could pick
Not Adam, not skipping a beat.
Yes,
Okay.
my love. Adam was like, anyway, girls.
He's like, can we get back on track? Thanks.
He was like, back to Milla.
I sent oh yeah, Candy, I sent you earlier the Vanderpump Villa is getting a reunion.
I'm excited. I really like the show. I'm excited.
Andy Cohen is not allowed to be the host.
He better not. I think Andy Cohen is on the out. I think he's going to be stepping down soon.
I mean,
I think they're gonna let him keep Watch What Happens Live, which I think is fine. But I think that they're slowly gonna phase him out of any other Bravo duties. Because and I'm gonna do a deep dive on this too. Because did you notice how they canceled BravoCon this year? There's no 2024 BravoCon.
I think that's because of the controversy.
Yeah, I think it's because all the lawsuits. I think they're trying to figure out everything legally, and I think they're also trying to figure out what to do with Andy Cohen.
I mean, the problem with him is that they've given him too much power in this egotistical way of his that he has.
Yeah,
and
I don't even know if he has that much power. I just think.
I mean, he recently signed last year he signed a $30 million contract, which is insane.
Yeah.
But Kimberly wants us to tell more about Vanderpump Villa. Vanderpump Villa is Lisa Vanderpump essentially has bought this massive French countryside palatial villa chateau, and there's a lot of staff that work for her, but unlike Vanderpump Rules, they live in-house. So everything kinky is in the same location as the guests.
it's basically Vanderpump Rules meets Below Deck on land. Right?
I feel like that would be a good way. I haven't
like that. Yeah,
like...
It's Vanderpump Rules. You have a group of people who work in hospitality under Queen Lisa Vanderpump. So there's that dynamic.
They live there, they work there,
but it's like Below Deck where they are catering to a rich, influential person who is having some sort of celebration milestone, whether it's this person's getting, their facial reconstruction because they're transitioning from a woman to a man, whether it's someone who is about to propose to their wife. So it's someone who's having a very special life milestone, celebrating it at the chateau.
And it's up to
this, and they rent it out, and it's up to the staff to sort of give them the Lisa Vanderpump treatment. But unlike Below Deck, they're not charting a yacht. They're basically renting the chateau, and it's on land. So it's almost like each episode they have like a new host, like a new guest client. So that's sort of like the problem to solve is making sure that the guest is happy. But then you have all of these other like interpersonal relationships, like Marciano is on again, off again with Hannah. She's kind of unstable. He's a drunk womanizer. Then you have Eric, who's this sort of like very, very mentally unstable manager who has sort of multiple personalities. You don't know what is going on. I mean that like legitimately, you don't know really what's going on with him mentally. Yeah. And there's some really dark stuff that comes out about him later on. I don't know if it comes out on the show, but it comes out on like, we all know he like almost unalived his ex-girlfriend. Like it's horrible. And then you see how he has like, I don't know if it's multiple personalities. I don't know what's going on with him, but he like talks to himself and he is just off. I mean, he's unhinged. He's a weird off person. And you get the feeling that like Lisa Vanderpump and other people, it's almost eerie because clearly they taped this before knowing what he did to his ex-girlfriend, but they're all like, something's off with this guy. He's very weird. Lisa's like, I don't know if we made the right choice with him. Like there's something very off with him. And he even made this comment where he was like, oh, I'm really nice now, but there's this really dark side to me. And we're like, yeah, no crap, buddy. You like beat the crap out of your ex-girlfriend to the point where like she had to go to the hospital. Like it's really bad. And again, you're like, do you do background checks on people? Like, how is this safe for a man who literally almost killed, like unalived his ex-girlfriend to now be here. And then you see how that plays out with other dynamics. There's another girl named Telly there who she's a really sweet girl. She has a hard exterior, but like a heart of gold. You can tell she's had a lot of trauma in her life. And she gets in an argument with Marciano, and Eric like doesn't do anything. Marciano gets in her space. She ends up like pushing him. It's this whole hot mess and everything comes out. But then you have like other people, like you have like Gabrielle, who's like super pretty and like put together. And then you have like Priscilla, who's like this sort of like Eastern European girl who's like, I don't know English, so blah, blah, blah. Or Brazilian. Same vibe.
The two jobs
going on. Yeah, but it's really good. It was better than what I thought it was going to be. And I like the way that they handle these interpersonal conflict and dynamics in a way that I haven't really seen on other shows, where they kind of break down like, well, why are you acting out? What is your trigger? What trauma happened? Like, you do belong here. We understand what's going on and all of that stuff. And it just made me fall in love with Lisa Vanderpump even more. Like, she's just amazing. She's super down to earth, and it made me love her so much more, because you can tell that whoever she has producing the show, boots on the ground, chef's kiss, they really get it. Like, they really are understanding the human dynamics. They're asking the right questions, and they're holding people accountable, but they're keeping it fun. And it seems really authentic and real. And they're doing everything in my mind that I'm like, well, I wish they would ask that. They did. Good. I hope this happens. Good. So whatever production company she's using with Hulu, clearly miles ahead of this sort of Shed Media truly original crap that we've been getting over and over again with the Bravo Evolution that we've been getting. Like, it's clearly a different production team, and those people who are boots on the ground are doing a really, really good job. So I'm excited to talk about it, because it's actually like super interesting, and you see these people and they all come from different walks of life. You know, one girl is like, she's like, you know, I realized once I got outside of my house, like, that I'm really poor. And she's like, I need to make money, and like, I don't have a secure life, and like all these things. And then you have another guy named Andre, and it's it's diverse, but it's not diverse. Like, the Valley is quote diverse, but it's very like token. It's like, here's a group of 5 white couples, and let's throw in a black girl and a gay guy for shits and giggles, you know, because we have that. They're like friends of, like, checking a box, whatever. Totally not authentic. These people aren't really friends, which is very clear. But with the Vanderpump Villa, it's diverse, but it's great casting, because they're not pretending that these people were friends. They are people who were hired by Lisa, and they're coming in to have this shared experience. And it doesn't seem like anybody is like a diversity hire. It seems like they're hiring people based on like who they are. And when you do that authentically, you will get a naturally diverse group of people, because you have really amazing, brilliant Black people. You have amazing, brilliant Indian people, amazing, brilliant white people, amazing, brilliant, whatever, A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z people, because you have amazing and brilliant people in every single category.
Oh, wow. It's got the same production company that was behind Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Interesting.
That's, well, yeah, because they're on Hulu now.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of
Wait, Kimberly, yes, it's in France. Yeah.
Lisa Vanderpump doesn't play games.
Nothing. Yeah. No, they are really in France. Yeah.
It will be in France. We don't play games. That's British. Mm-hmm. But in terms of the so far, obviously don't give too many spoilers away. But
okay.
But as there's going to be a reunion after mm-hmm. Lisa and whoever's this reunion host person.
Okay.
Which 2 cast members, as of now, deserve to be first seed?
On Vanderpump Villa?
Yeah, as in, like, who's going to be in what was Karen's spot on Potomac for the season?
Yeah, but you meant Vanderpump Villa or Vanderpump Rules?
Vanderpump Villa.
Oh, I would say Telly. Okay. And Probably Telly and Marciano.
Interesting. I'm glad that you didn't mention Hannah because she
Oh
she's,
my God, Hannah's a hot mess.
Hannah to
Ugh.
me, no offense, kind of like those types of girls.
No offense to women, I know.
Those types of girls are kind of the red flag emoji for me. But anyway,
100. Wait till you get to episode 5.
What did she do? I don't know anything that you guys are talking about.
Wait till you
What
get
did
to
she
episode
do?
5. You'll see how much of a red flag she is. There's just I won't give it away yet.
I mean,
And I need you to catch up because I'm gonna wait to do my review until you are caught up.
Yes, of course. I mean, I will schedule when I've finished it on your iCloud. But the only thing that kind of was the red flag is like, I know some people have said this in jest, but I kind of just thought it was a wacko statement, which was that, oh, I feel like I'm in college, not that I went to college, and it's, that comment was just, to me, was just so wacko from her in the trailer.
The thing with girls like Hannah is like,
they're confusing. They're a different race.
No, it's like when you are blindly loyal to someone who blatantly disrespects you. It's like the most saddest thing to watch. It's like the word of the night, pathetic. It's very pathetic, and I don't mean that in a mean way towards her. I mean it in like the meaning of pathetic. It's just like, this is pathetic. Like, have some shred of self-worth, of self-esteem, of something. Where a person 28.
Oh, that's too old.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in terms,
and you'll see what I mean when you watch the show.
I mean, but
I feel like you can get away with that and not be too, because it's kind of like almost like sadly a rite of passage when you're in your early 20s. But then like once you start getting up where it's like, unless you were very like living in a bubble and very like protected, I don't know. Or maybe you were with your high school sweetheart and then you finally broke up. I don't know. Like, I don't see how you could be doing that. But I don't know. Everyone's journey is different.
No, wait till you see this girl's antics. It's unreal. Did you wait? Was episode 1 when she talked about the way Priscilla was sitting?
No, I haven't seen that.
Okay, okay.
I'm at the stage where,
because Hannah is insufferable.
I'm at the stage where Hannah, not just Eric, but also Hannah, kind of pretends that they're ghosts when it came to the Telly and Marciano.
That they're ghosts.
Marciano thing at the bar where Telly kind of had to like say, "You need to know your place, mate."
Gotcha.
Yeah, like that. That's what, because it wasn't just Eric. Hannah was also pretending to be a ghost. Like, I don't know what drug she was on, but she was high. But
what do you mean by pretending to be a ghost? Like, can you please elaborate? Like a real ghost?
They pretend that they're not there, but they're there. They
weren't stepping in to defend Telly.
Yes, literally. I mean,
like they weren't hiding or
They
you see why Eric is, because Eric is a woman beater, so he wasn't gonna defend her.
But these types of girls,
allegedly.
If I was in that vicinity and there was also a girl who was literally going to pretend that I didn't exist in her presence, that's a red flag. And I mean, Hannah is just, I don't know, like to me, I just feel with her that.
That's why I said she's pathetic. Girl to girl, she should have helped Telly in that situation.
100%.
Yeah, no, that's why I was like, she's so pathetic, because Hannah to me is a girl who is loyal to no one, but the man who was cheating on her. She's not loyal to herself because she's letting herself be played, and she's not loyal to the other girls. And you'll see that she's no one's friend. And I kind of want to like shake Telly and be like, Hannah's not your friend. Ariane says lost in the conversation. Oh, we're talking about Vanderpump Villa. Sorry.
I mean, not to go to the extremes, but I'd rather be Brock's business partner than be her friend as a winner. Like that's my take when it comes to her.
Yeah, I
I
can't be around people like that because I can't not stick up for people that like, even if I like, I'm not even that close to them, but if I see something going down, it's very difficult for me to not like be like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I'm not, I could never just be like that bystander that like says and does nothing. That's crazy. Like I don't know. I'm just like not made like that. So if I see someone and they're just completely quiet, and I'm just like, what is wrong with you?
Hannah's a dangerous friend to have because she's the type of friend that she'll get you involved in some stuff, some mess, and
she'll put you in a situation and then like
you holding the bag.
Oh no.
Do you know?
I know exactly.
That type of person. Like she'll get you in some mess, and then it'll pop off, and she'll leave you holding the bag. But Telly needs to be smarter because I hope she doesn't overextend herself trying to take up for Hannah. Because Hannah is nobody's friend, but Marciano's. Yeah.
Literally, I mean, Hannah pretty much is kind
we
of
should
like
get back to Vanderpump Rules because, like Irene said, she's lost.
Yeah,
I don't know if
okay,
anybody else is lost.
I'm lost too, but somehow I'm just like
you're just
you like
vibing with us.
intuitively know, yeah.
I mean, you're just
because I just know
now
characters like this, so I can just like I don't know.
Now we've got.
I've been around a lot of people in my life.
Yeah.
Now we've got this picture in front of us. We can do 2 FMKs.
No, Adam, this has got to stop. You need an intervention. I'm serious. Like, I don't know what you were doing when we were all playing this back when we were, you might have been like not born yet for me, but like this game, no, Adam. I can't do it anymore. I know you love it. And I love that you love it. I do.
I would just give it openly for the chat. I mean, if you had the choice between Scheana,
this is Adam's show. Let's do this.
I know. Go boss man, Adam.
Scheana, Lala, and Ariana, who would you pick, and why? I personally would marry Lala.
He was ready to go. He was ready to go.
I would have a good time with Scheana.
Not him having his picks prepped.
I know. He was ready to go.
And Ariana, I would see you in Cloud 9.
Ooh. Okay. I would obviously get rid of Ariana. I think, you know what? I would marry Lala, and then I would have fun with Scheana.
Exactly.
Jen says Lala 1000% marry. She'd have fun with Scheana and deuces to Ariana. It's pretty consistent.
I mean, we have a lot in common.
Natasha muted herself. She is like dead to the world. She's like, I'm not doing it.
I mean, deep down, she'll probably think the same as us. She just doesn't want to say.
She was like, nope, I'm out of here.
I mean, I think most people would see Ariana in Cloud 9. I don't think they would have a fun time or marry her.
No, because Ariana is not a vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, she's not fun. Like, when is anybody like, yeah, Ariana was fun?
I mean, to me, kind of like, I don't know. I mean,
Ms. T says, Lala for a good time. Whoop whoop. Get rid of Ariana and marry Scheana.
Ooh, okay. But interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But
I literally was just like washing my face and like continue with my life doing that.
That's so funny. I'm also moisturizing my face.
I know I'm about to do some little skincare myself.
I mean,
I'm using my renewal treatment oil.
I mean, whilst you were commentating earlier, I had a face mask on, so yeah.
Ooh, look at
What
us.
kind
Nighttime
Okay.
routine.
Okay, right? Okay, nighttime routine.
Nighttime routine.
I'm dead.
I mean, look, if you,
Yes, my love.
if if you were in Sheena's position of life, which is quite, Scheana takes care of her partner.
That's true. I would be a payroll wife. That is true.
If you were in Sheena's position and you're on national television or on some Netflix show or whatever, and some international person, let's just say some wild kangaroo loving Australian guy, fancies you and what have you, and
Wait, sorry guys, I gotta go. I have to go to bed.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
love y'all. Bye.
Love you too. Bye.
much love.
Much love.
In essentially what I'm trying to say, in other words, is if you're on a national television or on Netflix and someone who doesn't have an American citizenship fancies you, and they're kind of like Brock's energy. Wait, what? What would they? How would you, kind of just out of interest, feel like? What would you need, kind of, as reassurance? Like, if they had a decent paying job, would you like? What would it take for them not? Because to me, Brock from the get-go just said, like, I want a green card. I'm gonna get with this girl. Like,
yeah. Well, the thing is, if the person have Brock's energy, like, there's nothing you can do because it's Brock's energy. Like, it's not the fact that he needs a green card. It's his energy. It's him. Like, it would take probably someone who didn't slide into my DM, somebody that I met through other people, like organically, someone who's not like a fan or anything, like just somebody that like I met through other people and who had their own stuff going on. Like, they could come to the States on like a work visa because they're working or something like that, where they don't need me to like stay here. Definitely not someone who has a history for hitting their spouse or the person they're with. You know, like, to me, all of those are red flags. Like, personally, I know people can be redeemed and I know mistakes happened, but just me, if you have hit a woman, that's a full stop. That's not a booty call. That's not friends with benefits. That's not a getting to know you. That's not a, whatever. That's just a full stop. Not saying I would hate the person, not saying any of that. I just would not choose to put myself in a position to be with that person. And I know people can change. I know situations are what they are. But if you know that that person has that in them, why would you then choose to continue to see that person? Like, you should stop right there. Also, the fact that he's a deadbeat dad, full stop, no, hell no. No. If you have children with someone, you should be a parent to those children. And if you actively are boastful about finding ways to not financially support them, and then you're trying to leave the country so you don't even have to see them, no. So there's nothing about Brock that would ever make me give him not even a second look, but a look. It would have to be a completely different person.
That's good, because because the reason why I ask is because, like, immigration it's a nuanced kind of topic in general, but like just with his, even if it wasn't with this dreadful past of domestic violence, leave it deadbeat dad, he kind of just gave off I want a green card ASAP vibes, just how thirsty he was to get with her.
He's a grifter.
And the reason why I ask is because like maybe like,
do you need a green card, Adam? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. You're like, the reason I ask.
well, the reason
I'm just kidding.
The reason why I ask is because it is because my mother's great grandfather had he was one of 7 children, and 3 of them moved to the States, 2 of them moved to Canada, and the rest stayed here. And like one of my friends was also just him and I were just discussing it because he actually works as an immigration lawyer, as I think is a junior lawyer called like a paralegal your way? Is that how you dub it or something?
There's a paralegal is almost like a assistant to a lawyer.
Yeah, he's kind of like an intern type of thing.
Yeah.
And James, he's got dual citizenship, and he has that freedom of being cross-continental, off from the Atlantic, and he was like saying how because he actually did an Instagram live once saying that how British friends of his wants to move to the States, but literally and vice versa, American friends want to move to here, and actually getting like you can get like a temporary work visa for a year, but either way, like for a British person coming to the States or American going over here, but it's just, to me, Brock didn't seem someone who even because originally I was going to do it before COVID happened, which was to go on a year's visa in North America, but to qualify for this year's visa you had to have a university degree. It was like a special work visa in the States, and to me he just kind of seemed like someone who overstayed a travel visa.
Maybe.
And it just gave off vibes because, like, with just the way that he was moving, it just kind of screamed, I want to leave Australia, because it just seemed weird to me, and I was just curious hearing from your perspective as an American woman, that isn't a family member, if someone like him, even if they didn't have this domestic abuse and all this history, if someone doesn't have like a professional job like what you do, or someone who's like a doctor or something like that, does someone like a Australian or whoever person who kind of is unemployed, like just someone like Brock who's unemployed, forget the horrible history, would that be someone you would just power off? Like, would you consider dating someone who's unemployed? Like, it's just the whole thing.
I mean, the thing for me is like whether or not somebody has a American citizenship doesn't really factor in. To me, it's more of just like the character of the person in general. Because Brock could have been a US citizen and still be Brock, and I still would never talk to him.
Yes.
So it's really more about the character of the person. Like I've been in relationships with people who weren't US citizens. They were citizens of the UK. They were British. So like it doesn't matter. It's just the character of the person.
Because the only reason why I'm bringing this up is just because the way just the way that whole immigration system works is complicated, and he just seemed like someone who did what they could to get a passport or green card or whatever steps. Like that's just my opinion. The whole marriage, and it's just I just thought, you know, as someone, you know, I just really was so intrigued to hear your take, because I was like, you know, does that play into value in most scenarios? But you've just said to me no, which, you know, character is still, you know, that's not a big factor to you, because constantly just in the Western world,
I don't think that really is like such a big thing, as long as the person that you're marrying is like a good person. Because your person could be born in Africa, in Europe, in Asia, wherever. You never know. As long as they are a good person is what matters, because they could be American and still not be a good. It's not so much the fact that Brock needed a green card that makes him, you know, questionable. It's his actions and his intentions and how he moves that makes him questionable. The green card is just one of the circumstances. And to be honest with you, it's kind of like the least of it. Like I would understand someone being like, I really want to come to America, and this is like a loophole that I can use, or a tactic or a strategy I can use to get a green card. That is the least of the red flags. It's more about him hitting women and abandoning his children and not wanting to support them and asking Scheana for money. Like those are the bigger issues. Like wanting a green card is way more understandable than everything else. Like hitting a woman, don't understand that. Deserting your children, don't understand that. Wanting to mooch off of Scheana's money and her fame, like, do you, son? But like, I don't understand that. Wanting a green card to live in America, I understand way more than all of those other things.
Yeah, I 100% get that. I just wanted just to hear your perspective on this, because because it's something that, like, you know, loads of people have commented on, you know, I've seen it on the Vanderpump fan page and all the stuff, you married for green card and but I just but changing the topics slightly with with the Valley.
Okay.
I will watch that when I've watched all of Vanderpump Villa.
Okay.
But my priority is Vanderpump Villa first.
Okay.
Because to me, it seems the more eclectic show of the two. They both got Lisa Vanderpump as EP titles.
I will say I'm enjoying Vanderpump Villa more than I'm enjoying The Valley. It's a fresher show. There's new people, new dynamics. It's a much fresher show. Yeah. And I have some hot takes on The Valley, but I'm enjoying Vanderpump Villa more so because it's just a fresher show.
And other than as James dubbed the old man and his ex-girlfriend and Brittany, other than those three, who out of the U cast members would you say is okay? They're the most likable person.
I would say. 1 second. I would say Nia. I think I like Nia the most.
Who
of all.
and which one
Nia,
is she?
she's the one who's married to Dan. She's the like ex beauty pageant. The one who just had the twins. She just had the twins, and she's going through postpartum depression. I like her the most out of all the women.
Is it the one in the light blue dress?
No, that's Michelle. She's in the green behind Jax, next to Kristen.
Oh, okay, yes. And is that Danny in the blue blazer? Nick, she's hugging. That's her.
Yeah, that's her husband.
And apparently, even though he seems nice, according to Queens of Bravo, the Jesse guy is the biggest mask player.
Like he's wearing a mask?
Yeah, apparently he's like allegedly just nasty, and they're splitting or divorcing or something.
Yeah, so Michelle and Jesse are probably getting divorced, but I think, and I'll say this when we do our Valley recap, I think Michelle is just as nasty as Jesse. I think they're both very mean, nasty people. I don't think she is some victim and he's just mean to her. I think she's a nasty woman. And not the way number 44 called Hillary that. I think that behind the scenes, she's really mean. I think she's a mean, nasty person. Michelle and Jesse. I think they're exactly the same. That's why they liked each other. That's why they got married. I don't think that he is like so evil and mean to her, and she's just like, oh my God, you're so mean to me. I think that they're both really nasty because she makes a lot of nasty comments about Kristen, and she just always has like this nasty face look on her face, and she is mean to him just as much as he's mean to her.
Oh, Pat in the comments says he's now going to watch Vanderpump Villa because of your commentary.
Mm-hmm. Hey Pat, what's up, sweetheart? Yeah.
And obviously it's not a big factor because it's just part of the show, but as they're all in these nice houses, who has the best interior in their house?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember.
No, well, it can't be Jackson Brittany, that's for sure, because that
probably. I honestly don't know. I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah. Okay. Because what was I gonna say? I am up to date on now with Summer House.
Woo!
But I need to watch Summer House Martha's Vineyard still.
Okay.
And I know you said it's not the case, but when I said that Paige is someone, her and Sierra, to me, like, what's your opinion on Gabby?
Oh God, Gabby, to me, she needs to get her own personality and stop just being up Lindsay's butt.
Yeah, that's my opinion.
Like, she's just a yes person to Lindsay because last season Lindsay didn't have anybody, and so Lindsay just grabbed onto Gabby just to like have someone. And I think Gabby felt the same way, that like she didn't have anybody, so she just sort of like latched onto Lindsay. But I think it's a friendship out of convenience. Like, I don't think that Lindsay would be friends with Gabby unless she needed her.
Also,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I kind of think they're codependent.
Yeah.
I kind of think that
like Gabby's the new Danielle.
I mean, I don't like Lindsay, Gabby, or Danielle.
Yeah.
I like Paige, Sierra, and
I think this could be the last season of Summer House, and I'd be okay with that.
I mean, to me, it's quite. I mean, the views aren't horrible apparently, but they're nowhere near as good as Vanderpump.
I think Bravo needs a refresh itself, not just like the network does. Because like I think Summer House, I think we could end it this season. Like I'm not invested. Like I think that Amanda is boring, flat, and mean and rude. I actually really like Kyle. I think that Wes is just pretending to be into Sierra, but he doesn't actually like her. Sierra, as beautiful as she is, she's also flat and boring and brings nothing. Paige likes to pretend like she's a mean girl, but she's flat and boring and brings nothing. I think that show could wrap. I think that Vanderpump Rules could call it a day. Summer House could call it a day. I think that Real Housewives of Potomac could call it a day. I think that what else is on there? Vanderpump or The Valley. I think they should do a season 2, but they should kick off Jax and Kristen and add 2 fresh people and just do a different show, but like keep it that, but not with them because it's too much. And I'm actually kind of liking Kristen, but it's just it's a little hard to watch just knowing everything that happens. What else do they got going on?
Married to Medicine just wrapped.
They can let that show go too.
I mean,
like that was horrible. Then now they're doing like the Real Housewives of New York, and it's like they're bringing back the entire cast, and then Rebecca Minkoff is joining, and somebody else is joining. But then it's like, well, if Rebecca Minkoff is joining, and there's already like Jenna Lyons, it's like, is this really the Real Housewives of New York, or is this sort of like a different type of show?
I mean,
you know what I mean?
I kind of want to see energy, like your Sutton Stracks and your Kenya Moores, like that's the energy I want to see. You know, to me, you know, I think everyone has their ups and their downs and their pros and their cons, but to me, I think Sutton Strack and Kenya, out of all the housewife shows, are 2 of the most entertaining in their own kind of ways. I mean, Kenya was, obviously, Nene, she liked her and what have you, but Kenya kind of, to me, I like her quick pace shade was just refreshing. And because what's her name? Shoebox House Giselle claims that she is the best shader on the whole of Bravo, but she can literally go back to her bungalow and watch like old school Atlanta and get that mind out of her head. And
hey, Kimberly.
Hi, Candy. Hi, Adam.
How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Thanks. How are you guys?
We're good.
Good. Yeah, I was thinking, I wanted to mention what made me watch the Bravo shows to begin with was when I lived in California. I loved seeing like the restaurants and, the different fun destinations and adventures that these people would go on. That's what I really, really loved. And as the Bravo shows have progressed, they've gotten more into like a Jerry Springer type of content in some cases, and they're forgetting what the viewer really enjoys. And that's why I was even thinking of switching over to the UK shows, because I like to see, traveling, and that's the kind of thing that attracts me to those reality shows is it's not the fighting, it's the fun adventures, even like a fun meal with friends. I think that's super that's what I'm attracted to. I don't know, I was watching one of the reality shows, and they were enjoying like just some lavish meal, and I'm like, oh. I used to be in outside sales, and I would take customers out to fun fine dining restaurants. But then the reason I moved from California back to the Midwest, where I'm from, having lived in California for 3 decades, is I was in a car accident, and I had, it's okay. There's a silver lining, but yeah, so I've lost my natural teeth, and now I have dentures, and I cannot enjoy the same, experiences like I used to have. And so for me, it's just so exciting to see a really, it's so ridiculous, but to see friends dining and all these really pretty places. And, I used to travel a lot. Now I'm older, like you guys know, with my musical interests that I've relayed. But, I just enjoy seeing all of that camaraderie and the niceness. And yeah, of course, you're going to have some conflict here and there. But it was, the past Bravo, I guess, MO was more adventure based in the beginning, I think.
Yeah. You should try the Real Housewives of Sydney. I really like that franchise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And do you have to tune in with the VPN then?
Yeah, with the VPN. I think maybe it might be on like Tubi or something. But I'll try and put some information together for you. But yeah, I like the VPN. But I really like and then you can always just like Google like watch free online, and you might come up with some good stuff too.
I mean, sometimes it's like the older episodes, so I kind of want to get it with the current stuff, and I just have to figure out how to.
You should watch Made in Chelsea.
Yeah, I want to. I mean, I've been to the UK, by the way. I was there for 13 days. I went to England, Scotland, and Wales, and anyway, it was so lovely. I really love the English countryside, and I would love to see more of England in the English shows. But
yes, it's quite the adventure.
But it's pretty there. I watch a lot of English gardening shows, and I watched Julie from Ladies of London on her American Viscountess, the country estates that she features, the castles and English manners. Do you watch that, Adam, at all?
Not really. I've seen glimpses of it.
Ooh, wait 1 second, guys. My screen just went berserk. Oh wait, it came back. Okay. Woo. Yeah, I did like Ladies of London a lot. That's where I really liked Caroline Fleming.
Stanbury.
Oh
yeah, Fleming.
Stanbury. But I like Caroline Fleming too.
Oh yeah, from Newport Beach, right? Wasn't she?
No, wasn't Caroline Fleming. She was.
You're thinking of Noelle.
Oh, okay.
Caroline Fleming is Danish royalty. Like
yeah.
She was great.
Yeah,
she's the one that got $300 million in the divorce. It was mad.
Yeah, she was cool. She reminded me of like a Sienna Miller type person.
Yeah, she was really pretty.
Yeah, and I like Caroline Stanbury better there than I like her on Dubai. I feel like something happened to her after her divorce.
Yeah, something not right. but
she placates too much to that guy.
Ladies of London.
Yeah.
Ladies of London was a good show. The only thing that kind of was annoying to me was Sophie Stanbury.
The daughter?
You like Sophie?
No, I didn't.
Was she too much of a follower?
I just felt her kind of as a pet. Like, to me, you're kind of like the Melissa of
the sister.
My favorite cast members of that show in season 1 was Caroline Stanbury and Caprice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, she was great.
But Caprice left, unfortunately, and she's someone I kind of wanted to know more because she kind of had a not just a wealthy lifestyle, but an eclectic lifestyle, and kind of gave me that kind of the same energy that kind of like Sutton from Beverly Hills gives me.
Was she the one that fell off the horse?
No, that was Annabelle.
That was Annabelle. Rest in peace. She passed away.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I did not know that. What happened?
A few years back, I think she had like a stroke or a heart attack.
Oh my gosh, she had spine surgery, right, from that accident?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I am hearing. I just literally ran into someone the other day that said that their spouse had a stroke after spine surgery a few weeks later. I know that's terrible to say, but you know, the spine surgeries, I don't know. It's just weird. There's a lot of complications with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with
that's sad.
But yes, I kind of want to see more of that. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a bit too optimistic. But yes, I'm very intrigued to see Lisa Vanderpump's nephew on Made in Chelsea.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. I think his name is Alex. No, Sam.
Sam.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
And I hope he can replace for Miles Arslicker, aka Temps.
Yeah, Temps is weird. Did you watch episode 1 where he like drank out of the shoe?
Yes, I've watched episode 1 and 2.
Oh, it was so gross.
It's disgusting. And no offense, but that's even the most ordinary people wouldn't do that. And to me, he
gross.
I mean, like, you know, the day I like him will be the same day, Candy, that you marry him. But that's
I actually know somebody that would drink out of women's pumps. And
really?
they were a bass player in a band. Yeah, really. I used to date only band members at one time in my life before I became a mother. And this was like an 80s band with the makeup.
Yeah.
And this guy, he definitely drank out of women's pumps.
Well, but yes, Candy, I stick by that. The day I like him will be the day you marry him. But like,
no, don't put that on me.
But I'm intrigued to see that. But with Vanderpump Villa, I will watch hopefully all episodes by Saturday evening.
Okay, so next week we'll do Vanderpump Villa. I'll wait for you.
I'll watch it too.
Yeah, yay!
And I'm glad that to hear that you didn't pick Larsa Pippen's intern, aka Hannah, as the person who deserves the first chair.
No, definitely not. And Made in Chelsea, I would, out of the people, James is my type. I would be with James.
Not is Reza too short for you?
Reza, yeah, he's too short and he's too much like Napoleon complex. Like he's too.
I mean, he probably comes up to your shoulder. You're probably taller than him.
He's too. No, unfortunately, I'm shorter than him. But like, I'm like really tiny. He's too desperate energy, and that stuff with him, thirsty, and like Ruby is horrible. And the situation with him and Ruby, like, no way.
I mean, I will like her the day that her parents give me their house and inheritance, but that's not gonna happen. So like that to me, yuck.
Yeah, I like James though. Like James is my type. If he asked me on a date, I would say yes. If he wasn't like married with Mava, but like
and a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be stepmom to James's kid. I don't know.
No.
Oh, Adam.
Yes.
What do you think about Allie and James, when they had that conversation about marriage and kids, and James got all teary-eyed. That was so touching, don't you think? But then Allie seemed a little cold. How did you feel about that?
I kind of think Candy hit the nail on the head.
I missed it. You guys probably talked about it earlier.
But Ali is this walk-in ChatGPT, and to me, I don't feel that. I don't think she
is she right for James.
I don't think. To me, I deep down think that James and Lala will get back together in the future. I think
they seem to have a good chemistry.
Yeah, because they.
I call them endgame. I think that they are each other's endgame. I think once all the shows are over and once all the money that they can make is to be made, once their 15 minutes is over, I think they'll get back together. I think that they're each other's endgame.
That's how I think. I just think of Ali. She's just kind of. I don't know what. There was this scene last season of Vanderpump where James says to Lala, "Shall I ask Ali to marry me?" And
I remember.
Lala's response said it all.
What did she say? I forgot.
I'm not going to say the actual word because I don't want any YouTube police officer coming after Candy. But she said, "I'm so effing done."
Okay, I remember the scene for sure. And no, you're right. She seems jealous, right? Of James's love lives, and that's why she would go mad dog on Rachel Raquel. When it seemed like she would always go so crazy, vicious, like uncalled for. And this was, of course, pre-Scandival. But Lala would just go off on Raquel, like calling her all kinds of terrible names, Bambi-eyed, B-word. Yeah. And I thought that was not really called for. I'm like, she's a cute girl. What's the problem?
Well, not cute anymore. The true colors were exposed. Kimberly, one thing I wanted to with the FMK, you did a cop out. You said you would marry you would marry. You pretty much said, in other words, you would marry Lala, but you would get rid of both Scheana and Ariana.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't stand it.
That's against the British law. You can't do.
Oh, it is. It's against. Okay, well, I definitely. I don't know. Scheana is really getting on my last nerve, almost. But Ariana is way too power hungry. So I guess I would, X out Ariana, maybe have a romp with Scheana and marry Lala.
I love that.
Bring home the bacon, I think.
Yeah, she just.
Is that not a thing though?
I know.
Is that not a thing your way though, that you can borrow 5.5 times your salary? Is that not a thing? Because that's the norm over here.
I don't know.
I honestly have no idea.
Because the reason I know this is because in London everything is so overpriced and extreme. Everyone's kind of like, if I have if I start a business and how much do I need to get this house? It's kind of like, because in London everything's been, crazy money since 2000, but ever since we hosted the Olympics in 2012, like it's been mad. Like literally the international investment that was put into the city. I mean, we have like London is pretty much like New York and Los Angeles and Miami if they all had a baby and like they had triplets that were basically London.
So it's like three times the expense of New York, Adam?
Not quite 3 times, but like it's, aside from the occasional modern complex in New York, if you compare like the 1800s architecture, those types of condos, your typical flat in London is more, and but the difference though with London compared to New York is that our houses are a bit more diverse. Kind of in New York, like all the people who seem to have houses in the city have these houses on like 6 stories. It's crazy to me. Like that, because like that's only kind of a architecture in central London, but like in your like only like the very zone 1, but like your zones 2, 3, 4 don't have that kind of limitation. You can have a house on 2 or 3 floors.
Do you live in London, or are you in the?
Yes,
Wow.
I live in London, luckily, but it's not. It's. I mean, most people who live in London wouldn't be able to afford a house today. Like it's
It's older money, probably, like generation upon generation are staying there. Is that right? Maybe.
But most people don't leave home until they're like, and if they don't leave home typically until they're at least 30.
That makes sense. I think that's fine. I would love to keep my son. He's 18 now. I would love to keep him home till he's 30. I don't know.
So
he's my only son, but only child, I should say. But yeah, I think that's great. And why not if you have the room?
I mean, that's kind of my attitude as well. But a lot of people kind of. I mean, my mom left when she wanted to leave the house ASAP when she was young. My mom left home when she was 19, and but life was a lot different back then.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Candy, I've got a question for you just before I go.
Yes, my love.
Obviously, on Instagram, send me your iCal link.
Yes, boss man.
My question for you is:
yes.
If in the Vanderpump Rules reunion that's gonna up and coming that we're going to see.
Okay.
Do you predict just in your forecast that you're going to be still team Lala, or do you think you're going to move to team Katie and Ariana?
I think everyone's going to move to team Lala. I think we're going to see something that makes us turn against Ariana and Katie.
Ooh.
That's my prediction.
That's my prediction as well.
Yeah.
We're in sync today.
I know we are in sync. I think something's going to drop where it's like Ariana's going to be a little exposed. And I think people are going to be way more understanding of Lala's, not vitriol, but her position rather. I think more people will be on Lala's side than they were before. I think the tide will turn.
Do you agree or disagree, Kimberly?
Oh, I am already on. I used to dislike Lala a great deal. However, I've now become, evolved, I guess, or migrated towards liking her because of she's now being honest. Out of all of the, I feel like the cast, what really got me, with the Scandival thing is, yeah, it wasn't good and so forth, but they milked it way too much. And the reason why Scheana probably cries so much and so hard when it's not even her, love life is because of the money. I think that, it brought her from having 2,000 or whatever she said in the bank where Tom gave her money during COVID. And then after the Scandival thing blew up, all of them just got so much money. And I think that's why Scheana even continues with that stupid "Good as Gold" song, now putting in more lyrics from the Scand of All Things and Rachel Raquel, her Jetta or whatever. But she's still trying to milk it. She would throw a friendship away with Tom that gave her money when she really needed it. I mean, if a friend did that for me, I would really value that person regardless of their mistakes, and he's apologized. But she's continuing to milk it for the money, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm already team Lala. I think the other people, Lala's calling them out, being honest. And I'm even if Tom did something bad, they've all pretty much, except for Katie, I don't think she's ever been a cheater. But the rest of the cast is all, they've all cheated at one time or another. Doesn't matter when. A cheater, if you cheated back then, you cheated. So I don't know. That's why I'm team Lala now, because she seems to be she and Schwartz, they're telling the truth.
Yeah.
And the other people just aren't. James is somewhat telling the truth. I have
James
to say
spells
too.
it out.
Yeah, he tells the truth. Even he still kind of milks it though, in a way. But
I mean, the only thing with him
James
I
tells
don't like
the truth when it comes to Tom Sandoval, but I think he's holding back what he really thinks about Ariana because he doesn't want to be canceled.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
I mean, the only
but he gives it to Tom.
Oh yeah, he does. But
the only thing I don't like about him is the same thing that, like, obviously his party that he messed up and what have you. But the only thing currently I don't like about him is the same thing I don't like about Sutton from Beverly Hills, and that is that they live on main roads.
Oh my gosh!
Oh,
Adam, go to bed, Adam.
Also, Miss Chi, thank you for being my mod. It was nice chatting with everyone, and of course, thank you for this dapper live stream.
You're welcome.
I'll be on your ICA.
Sounds good, boss man.
Night.
Good night, Adam. Thank you so much.
Good night.
You too. Good night.
Well, yeah.
I know.
It's fun talking to people from across the pond.
It is fun. It's always good to get different life experiences and everything.
Perspectives, yeah, from other places rather than us here in the US. And yeah, he's interesting. I enjoy his banter.
Me too.
And a lot of the times, Candy, I wanted to tell you, a lot of the shows I don't really, I'm not really up on a lot of the shows. I only watch Vanderpump Rules and Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I used to watch OC because I lived in Mission Viejo at one time, but and I like kind of like the OC terrain and such. But anyway, that's almost that's pretty much unwatchable for me. But the reason why I tune in a lot is I really think you have great insight. You have really great analogies. You break you break it down psychologically in a way. I mean, I love your take on things, and you crack me up too. You knew the dog bites.
Exactly.
All these colloquialisms, I need to write them down there. You have so many good ones.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, I really appreciate that. Warms my heart.
I learn a lot from you. Yeah, it's just it's really good experience to even watch how you analyze, because you really get in there psychologically, and it's very, very different than other YouTube channels.
Aw, thank you. That means a lot to me, and I really appreciate that. I receive that, and I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm 3 hours ahead, so I moved from California to Michigan,
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, and I was able to buy a house.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm actually a homeowner, where in California I was, I owned a condo at one point, but I was a renter for quite some time, and it's just like Adam was saying, the real estate prices, of course, have gone sky high. And so the silver lining for me was a slower pace of life, and it's real pretty where I live. It's very green and a lot of lakes, and but we get all the seasons in a long winter. However, the slower pace was good for me, even though I enjoyed the heck out of California. I was a road warrior, and really that was the attraction to these Bravo shows, is the fun, that you can have for the price of gas. I would do a lot of beautiful road trips up to Lake Tahoe and
nice.
Big Sur and all of those, everything in between. But California is just lovely. And but yeah, I moved, and I'm 3 hours ahead now, so I try to catch you when I can, and I thank you for everything that you do.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And thank you for being a candy cane.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Aw. Thank you so much to my beautiful panel of guests. Thank you to Adam, Natasha, to Kimberly, and to Tay-Tay. I think Tay-Tay called in today too. So thank you so much, all my panelists. Thank you to Pat, to Jen, to Miss T, to Irene, to everybody else in the chat box, to Lolly, to Giovanna, to Arivina. I hope I said your name correctly. To Taryn, thank you to everybody. To SJ, thank you to SJ as well. She came up as well. Thank you to SJ. Thank you to Stephanie. Thank you to everybody. Hi, Fire Robin. What's up, sweetheart? Thank you to everybody. This was so much fun. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Those are free ways to support the show. If you want extra ways to support, just check everything linked down below. We have courses, a newsletter, and some merch as well. But yeah, like, subscribe, and share. It's a free way to support the show. And as always, you guys, take care of yourself and each other. I love you. And we'll be back tomorrow, either doing the Valley or Vanderpump Villa or Summer House. We'll be doing something. We'll have fun. So be sure to hit the notification bell so you can join us live. So that's you guys. I love you. Mwah. Bye.